Hello, everybody, and welcome to Awfully Silly. My name is Conception. I am the host of this show. If you haven't tuned in to us before, or it's been a while, this is a show where we get to take our favorite, most absolutely bestest block from any mainline GDQ marathon, which is, of course, the Awful and Silly block, and put it on your screens in a somewhat reasonable time. Usually all of our themes, we have all of our episodes are themed as well. This one only has one game, so the theme will be very evident when we introduce the game. But for now, we'll get to that in just a moment. Wanted to remind everyone of a couple things. First of all, SGDQ is super duper right around the corner. First of all, prize submissions for SGDQ 2025 are open. So if you want to still submit something, gamesdonequick.com for some more information on that. Additionally, if you're getting as hyped for SGDQ as I am, then you're probably going to want to tune into some of our SGDQ ambassadors all throughout the month of June, which is about to be over soon. You can support the Doctors Without Borders by checking out our SGDQ ambassadors, joining their community, and checking out their streams as they raise funds for Doctors Without Borders in advance, in the lead up to SGDQ. If you want to learn some more info about that, !SGDQ ambassadors to check out the full schedule. Some incredible personalities on there. Okay, without further ado, so tonight's theme is Barnyard, and take a guess as to what game that we'll be featuring. If you're familiar, Barnyard was an incredible animated movie that had some really incredible game tie-ins, which we're going to get to see now in a full episode long run of the PC version of Barnyard, and it's going to be run by Wazip. So Wazip, the floor is yours. Take us to the Barnyard.
All right, thank you, Conception. Hello, everybody. I am Wazip. I'm joined by 67 Shots.
What's up, everybody?
And this is a glorious, fantastic licensed video game, and a very long one at that. So we're just going to jump straight into this pretty quickly here. So 3, 2, 1, go. So Barnyard is based off the... hold on. Actually, can we reset really quick? Is that fine? Yes.
So let's just waiting on the tech confirm, but I'm sure we can.
Okay, sorry. I just needed to adjust one thing real quick because I forgot to turn it off. Okay. Anyways. All right. If we're good to go, then I'm good. Okay, sweet.
Yep, you are good.
Okay. Good. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so Barnyard, as we all know, a lovely Nickelodeon franchise with a show called Back at the Barnyard that you likely know it from, but it also had a movie before that TV show was actually made, and basically the game is essentially a GTA type game where you are going around the open world doing missions for a bunch of different characters. The first one here being Miles, a mule that essentially is guarding the barnyard from intruders, and he's pretty much like one of the head people that like helps us out. Right off the bat there, we did do a quick little animation skip where we had to pick up a recipe rock, and the way that we do an animation skip is we do a jump, and as we're falling from that jump, we actually spam the interact key, and once we do that, the animation will instantly just be skipped. So yeah, pretty simple. Woo. We are collecting some items here for a mission in just a second here. One of the main things you're going to realize with this game is that there is a lot of missions based around food. There's a character named Pig who we all know and love, also known as Dr. Pig, also known for his viewer mail time with the audience from Back at the Barnyard. And I'm just going to make sure I get an item real quick here. And of course I don't. All right, 67, if you want to explain why I need this item, feel free.
All right, so everyone, what he's looking for is the flour sack, and there we go. There it is right there. So normally it's roughly a 1 in 4, 1 in 5 chance. We're not entirely sure, so we'll say 1 in 4. So normally you kick those bags, and you'll either get a coin or a flour to use later for this pig mission to bake him a pie.
Yeah, and the reason, of course, that he wants this pie is because he's a big fella. He likes his food. Nothing wrong with that, but obviously he's too lazy. Just like with any video game, he's too lazy to grab it himself, so we have to do it for him as the main character. And there is actually a moment of some... there's going to be some RNG upcoming in the kitchen where we do actually bake the pie. And we're going to hope that we get some good RNG here. Essentially, we want him to say, "I'm bacon," right when we bake the pie, and if he doesn't, then that's just time loss. We do get the "I'm bacon." Hopefully we do get the party on right after. That is the next voice line that we want to hear. It's both of these are going to be a 1 in 3 chance. Oh my gosh, we got the bacon party. Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
That's really
Bacon
good RNG.
party.
Despite the fact that we did not actually get the flour sack from the first 4 sacks, we did actually get the good RNG. So that saves us about like a second and a half. So we're feeling good about the game now. So usually, if you get a flour sack from the first flour that you kick, you can actually talk to Ben first here before Pig. Of course, we didn't end up actually getting it, so we have to talk to him after talking to Pig. But it's not that big of a deal, not that big of a time loss. And Pip is acting a little finicky. So Pip is going to be giving us an item that is basically a pair of sunglasses. And with this pair of sunglasses, Pip is actually going to explain to us that we're going to be able to squirt milk. And you might be wondering, what do you need to squirt milk for? Well, let's just say... this being based off of GTA, instead of shooting with a gun, you are actually shooting animals with your milk to deter them from attacking the characters within the barn, as well as stealing items from the barn as well. So let's see. Okay, and Otis is going to tell us to squirt 6 animals, which we do pretty easily, as I do another animation skip to pick up a flower. We need 10 of these flowers. I'll be picking up 9 of them just in a bit for a mission that we will have much later on for Otis. The next mission we're about to enter, we're actually about to practice our craft of squirting by talking to Ben here by doing a mission called Sharp Squirter. And I do need to focus up a little bit here, so I'll let 67 kind of explain what we do here in the Sharp Squirter.
So these Sharp Squirter missions, they'll spawn you into a 3-level type of mini game where you will have to squirt cans as they show up on your screen. And the fastest way to do it in this level is 2 quick squirts right there. So you can see how he does it so quickly. He does a quick lock-in on his mouse by clicking the right mouse button, and that'll allow him to lock in on the can. And you see right there, he did a long squirt. We call it the long squirt, where if you jump and do a lock-in squirt at the same time, you can do a long squirt, which makes the milk go much further than it normally will.
And as you saw right there, I did actually leave the mission a little early. So once you squirt the last can of the mission, you can actually just leave straight through the pause menu, and you'll be able to save, I think, around like 8 seconds each time that you do it, because there's an animation that plays where your character just like slicks his hair back, and then you got to wait for like a leaderboard screen. But you can skip that all by doing this. And pardon the sudden jump scare in just a second here. I'm going to be alt-tabbing on this mission to essentially knock these pigs off of their stands. This is called Mud Jumpers. Essentially what we're doing here is we're being the last man standing. And that was a really good instance of Mud Jumpers right there. And what we're doing is that we're alt-tabbing as soon as the pipe gets next to the pig. That way they're not able to kick or jump over the pipe. And that was honestly like the most perfect demonstration I could have done of that mission. That was really good. But
yeah,
what
so even with the alt tab strat, you still have to get really good RNG, because they can do an early jump, which even if you alt tab, the pipe will still go under him and it won't hit. So you still have to get good RNG, which he got there. So we're very happy.
Yeah, what used to happen with that mission is that we just hope and pray that they just get knocked over without the alt tab at all. And when you're waiting around in a speed run, that's usually going to lose you some time. So we are happy to have the alt tab, even if a weird looking Squidward is jump scaring us while I do it. We're gonna do a quick little animation skip on this gate to open up the gate, and that's actually where I did find the animation skip a long time ago, completely by accident. So shoutouts to glitch hunting without actually trying to glitch hunt. But the mission we're doing right now is collecting all these eggs around the barn that Hannah lost, which just goes to show how great of a mother she is. And we're going to do a bunch of animation skips here to try to pick up these flowers. Unfortunately, there is a way to pick up 2 in 1 animation skip, but I was not able to actually do that there, unfortunately. But that was still pretty efficient. And we are about to obtain another item that is really essential and one of the most technical parts of this run. And one of the things I want to quickly mention is that this game is surprisingly technical, as you'll come to find out throughout the entirety of this run. And one of the things that makes this run so technical is the bike that we're about to obtain from Otis here. And one of the key things that you can do on the bike is obviously you can sprint, you can do jumps, and you can do all these kinds of tricks, but there's also some hidden tech. For example, we have a trick called super jump, where essentially there's 2 jump keys on the bike, and if you hit those within 2 frames of each other, I believe, you can get a jump that is double the height of the normal jump. So the butter that when I went into the barn at the very start of the run, I collected some butter. That butter is used just for this mission because, like I said, a lot of these missions are based around food, and especially when it comes to Pig, he really enjoys his food. So of course, he just wants to eat a stick of butter. But we are about to come up on another trick that saves a ton of time. I'll let 67 describe it here.
So in this mission here, normally, if you're playing the game normally, you would drive all the way around to the Jersey cows so you can squirt them. But what we're going to do here is we're going to ride the bike over to the sleep area, and he's going to get a pixel-perfect lineup with his sunglasses here, and he's going to squirt the cows from a super long distance using a super squirt. And after he hits the last one, ideally he can get to the sleep spot in time and skip the entire talking animation.
Got it.
And so it looks like you got it there. So we wait,
right.
Screen fades to black, and we press OK.
All right, and now we get to skip all the dialogue that we were supposed to do towards what's called Dankweed Pond, which is a very surprising name to put in a children's title. But
yeah, interesting.
Basically, if I hit OK on the sleep thing there, below 9 minutes, we're on a pretty good pace. So currently, we are technically on world record pace, but we do have an upcoming mission that basically decides whether or not I actually will get a run on world record pace. What was I going to say? We are going to be playing a game of pool against a dog named Duke that we talked to at the very start. And I think we all understand how pool works in terms of tabletop games, where essentially you hit in for this game, you hit in a color, and then once you hit in that color, you have to hit in all the other colors of the balls on the table, and then from there, you got to hit the black ball once you hit all of those ones in. Essentially, the fastest way to complete this mission is to have the opponent hit in the black ball. So we're going to hope that Duke the dog does that for us. It's very, very unlikely that he does, but we're going to just hope for the best. And then we're actually going to do a quick little trick called salmon skip here. So I was on GDQ Hotfix about a couple months ago with my friend Macho Fish Randy Salmon, and the trick is named after him. You basically talk to Root in that exact position that I was at. And once you finish talking to him, which is in just a moment here. Oh, what does he say? Yeah, let's get this party started. All right, so we're getting this party started in the night barn. And once the camera turns around, our friend Bill spawns in there. Basically, if you don't do the setup that I just did, you have to like turn your camera around and do like a whole like 360 to make Bill spawn in. So salmon skip makes it so that you save that time you have to do to spin around. But we're going to talk to Root real quick here. Essentially, what we're talking to Root about at the moment is basically stuff for 100%ing the game, about like buying a bunch of items from the Gopher Underground where we got the pool table from, and sprucing up this night barn here. But we're going to just talk to him once, and then that's all that we have to do for that aspect. And now we are going to hop into pool. Who's up for a game? I am very nervous for this part. This can decide whether... This. Oh, thank you. This basically decides if I have a run or not. So I'm going to focus up a lot here. 67, if you want to explain what usual like time to exit, what a good time to exit is, you can feel free to do that.
So usually I'm exiting around roughly the 13-minute mark in my any percent runs. So that would be a good pace for what we're looking for. But anything above that is still okay. It's still very salvageable. But if you can get below 13 minutes, that's also very good.
I'd say for a beginner, usually like anything in this 14-minute range is also really good too. So let's see. Okay, pretty good shots so far. This is the hard part, figuring out which one I want to take. So one of the biggest things with... Actually, I'm going to focus. Actually, never mind. I was going to say something.
I believe what he was going to say is one of the biggest things is your shot selection. So you got to really decide what shots you're going to take and where the ball is going to land after you take those shots. So you have to do the right power. You have to take the right shots, and you have to make sure the ball get in there. Get in there.
Oh my gosh.
All right, you made it. All right, so that's a good pool split. You got to make sure that you get everything in before Duke gets too many chances to actually go. So that was very good.
So yeah, getting a sub 13 time puts me directly on the path for a world record. So we're gonna see how well I'm able to focus up here and see what can happen. There is a lot of RNG about an hour into the run that still kind of dictates whether or not this is going to be world record pace. So we're not out of the clear at all, folks. We have a little under 3 hours to go. So sit tight and just enjoy the show. And hopefully I'm able to put on a good showcase. It'd be really nice if I could get a world record, of course, but we're going to go straight back to sleep. One of the main things that you can do in this game, or one of the main things you have to keep in mind is when there's no missions going on, like in the bottom left mini-map, if there's no arrows pointed, for the most part, you're going to go to sleep. That way you just have missions ready to go right after. And this next mission is called Tease the Mailman, if you want to explain how it goes. 67.
So basically, there's a mailman, and you're going to tease him with your dance moves as Archie here. So you'll either input a long string of numbers, as you'll see here in a second. It's either a 1, 2, or 3. So there will be a long trick, a medium trick, and a short trick. The long trick will give you the most points, but it's still RNG based. It's a 50-50 if you get the max points out of the long trick. So right there, he got one of the max points, and then the second one wasn't. So he's going to try to squeak in a smaller trick here so he can finish it up in the fastest time.
Yeah, so ideally you'd want to get 2 long animations before he turns around the first time, and if you get 100 points, the minigame instantly ends. Unfortunately, of course, as we can tell, I did not get the best possible RNG, but that is perfectly okay. And the next mission coming up here is going to be Bike Race 1, and with Bike Race 1, I'm going to be showcasing this trick called back tire boost. And what we do with back tire boost, I'll show it off here in a second. We jump in the air, we lean back on our bike. Okay, well, that's not what you want to have happen. You're supposed to have a ton of speed that propels you forward. Usually we have a speedometer on the left side of the screen when it comes to doing runs normally. And let's say somewhere in the like 17 plus speed range is where you want to be with these BTBs for the most part, if you want to save a lot of time. But for the most part, for sprinting, normally on flat ground, you go about 13.4 meters per second. So anything above that is going to be a good amount of time loss, or good time save. I was thinking about the time loss that I just did. But the Jersey Cows are going to be one of our biggest rivals in this game when it comes to racing missions, and the bike races are really where the Jersey Cows shine. They can really get in your way sometimes. So I'm going to focus up for this bike race as there's a ton of BTBs that I need to be pulling off here.
Another really important thing with these bike races, if you guys look in the top left, you'll see those blue bars of stamina. You have to make sure your stamina is managed almost perfectly throughout these bike races. And the way you can do that is by tapping shift and not holding it down too much. And if you just tap it right, you can get a good momentum to where you can keep a good speed while not wasting too much of your stamina.
Some good BTBs. Yeah, stamina management is really what differentiates between a good runner and not so good runner. For the most part, stamina management is just one of the biggest key things you have to consider when it comes to the open world aspect of this game. And the bike races are a really good way to practice managing your stamina. That was a pretty good BTB. So yeah, one of the main things I've been having a problem with when it's come to BTBs is the fact that there is a good chance if you lean too far back that you fall off your bike, as I showed on the very first one of the run. And basically, you know, with that, the more that you fall off the bike, obviously the more time that you lose, and it kind of depends on how you fall off the bike and in which direction the bike is like going towards once you fall off it. So I'm gonna do my best to try to limit the amount of times I fall, of course, but no promises. We'll see how it goes. And one thing you can do at the end of these bike races is fall off the bike once you cross the finish line, and it skips a little cutscene that plays once you cross the finish line as well. All right, we are coming up on the end of the first chapter here. There are 9 chapters in total within this game. I'm gonna quickly go for a trick here, though. Hopefully I'm able to pull it off. Okay. Of course not. So what I was trying to do there, I was trying to jump on top of that shed and then do a super jump that gives me the double height jump that I'd normally get. And I would be able to just jump straight into the veggie patch over here. Of course, I wasn't able to pull it off, unfortunately, but one of each veggie in here, the pumpkin, carrots, and cabbage. And then we need 6 strawberries. Funnily enough, the strawberries are used for just missions where the characters are hungry. One of those missions is coming up right now, actually. You can only imagine which character is wanting food. And he's basically just going to take the strawberry out of my hand. But like I mentioned, 9 chapters in total. The first half of the game is going to be 3 chapters, and then from there on, the second half is pretty downhill in terms of the pace of chapters that we're going to be going through. So, like I said, we do have this big pink fella here who really enjoys his food, and we're going to be giving him a couple strawberries here to satiate his hunger. And then right after, we're going to talk to Pip. Pip, being a small little mouse guy, he has a hard time getting around, so we're going to help him get to his best pal, Otis. So let me talk to Pip here, and with Pip on my head here, he does a funny little animation that I like, where he's essentially, he's basically Ratatouille, but when you sprint around, he's like grabbing onto your hair and just like flying off the back, so he's just like holding on for his dear life as you're riding around on the bike. So hopefully he's able to stay on. But we're quickly going to do another trick here called reverse log jump once we get to Dinkweed Pond here, which will pop up on the screen in just a second, where we basically jump across that log there, and we're going to spin our bike around and talk to Otis here real quick. All right, and this will dictate the end of Chapter 1 here. Usually if you end Chapter 1 below 21 minutes, you're on a pretty good pace. So the fact that we're ending it below 20 minutes is a really, really good sign of things to come. I'm going to go for another risky strat here. I don't know if it's going to go well. If you want to try to explain it, 67.
So in Barnyard, there are a bunch of floating planes that you can get on if you do super jumps with your bike. So what he's attempting here is he's trying to get on to one of the... Okay, what he was trying to attempt was getting onto one of the sky planes, as we call them. And you can basically, from there, you can go to a different out-of-bounds area to load in the Barnyard. And from there, you can jump into the Barnyard, saving roughly 3 seconds from there, from Dinkweed to the Barnyard. So it's pretty risky, but if you can get it done, it saves a little bit of time.
All right, and we are actually coming up on our first timed mission. There are nine timed missions in total, each one kind of varying in time, I believe. For the most part, they're around like 2 minutes to 3 minutes. So this would be a fantastic time to have an announcement if we have any.
Oh yeah, for sure. We got plenty of stuff going on. Wanted to shout out Black in a Flash. If you hadn't tuned in this past week, we had the Juneteenth event, which was just incredible. A schedule loaded with incredible runs from incredible Black speedrunners, and this is an incredible community too as a whole. So Black in a Flash is a community that uplifts and connects Black speedrunners of all levels, hosting special events throughout the year to raise money for charity and celebrate Black voices in the speedrunning scene. If you were interested to learn in learning more about it or applying, you can do gdq.gg/BAF. And you can also follow Black in a Flash on Blue Sky. That's a lot of BL sounds. Black in a Flash on Blue Sky at blackinaflash.bsky.social, and you can get your latest updates there. Big shout out to them. Big shout out to the organizers, the incredible runners, and what an awesome Juneteenth event that was. Thank you for putting it on.
All right. So we did just do a quick little trick called, it's named after one of my emotes on my Twitch channel called Owazi Spin, where basically we hop up on this shed while Otis is following us, and now he's kind of just stuck below us trying to like squirt us, but he's not able to, obviously. So we're just gonna stand here with this chick in our hand and kind of just chill. There is gonna be a later Chasing Chicks mission where I'm gonna try to go for it. We're basically gonna be against the Jersey cows instead. I'm gonna try to go for this exact trick again, but that's gonna be about like a little under 2 hours from now. So we got some time before I can even think about showing that one off. But yeah, there is plenty of things we can do during these timed missions that basically makes it so that we can just stay here. These are perfect missions to go to the bathroom, get some water, get a snack, get what you need to do for like the rest of the run. So I'm quickly gonna leave the mission. You can the only missions you can leave early out of, I should mention, are the sharp squirting missions, like the one that we did earlier, and then the Chasing Chick missions. And the Chasing Chick ones have very specific properties in terms of when you're able to leave, which I'll go over once we do get to the Jersey Cow one. But I'm gonna try to do some BTBs. We have another lovely timed mission incoming here in just a second. The next mission that we do, I don't imagine we would want to. Okay, I don't know why this BTB is acting up today. I don't imagine we have another announcement we'd want to do right away. But if we do, this would be another good opportunity.
Oh, hey, I'll talk. If you want me to talk, I will talk. No worries.
Sure thing.
Awesome. If you're a Hotfix fan, then you might be interested to know that we have some merch. That's right. Our Hotfix summer merch collection is now live, actually. So if you want to go over to theyeti.com/GDQ, you can check out our brand new Hotfix shirt, keychain, and sticker pack. So, you know, if you want to turn out for Hotfix, go on over to theyeti.com/GDQ.
All right. In this mission, we are basically trying to stop these raccoons from coming in and stealing these veggies. So one thing that you can do with this mission, just like the last one, is a way to stop them from actually getting inside of the veggie patch. This trick was found by, his name is it's Dutch, so give me a second. Faced Schildpad, known as Party Turtle in English. And he basically is a very casual runner of this game, and he just happened to come across like some cool time saves that I'll go over once we actually get to the certain parts of the run. He came up with a couple reroutes that we still use to this day. But basically the way that you stop them from coming in is you leave one of these holes open and they just run around the hole while you stand there. It's kind of like you've got like an aura shield around you, and they're kind of just like, you know, too scared to even like get near you. So we're just gonna stand here with their sunglasses again, and yeah, we're gonna just let Archie just stare at us like this, because that's what Barnyard runners do. Is there any questions from our other commentators who do not play this game? Do we have any questions about what's going on here?
As in from the chat, or as in from me, or like
from you, whoever has
me.
questions.
Okay, well, I always have questions. So, how did you get started in Barnyard speedrunning specifically? Was this a childhood game, beloved to you? Is that how you got started, and you just wanted to beat it fast?
Absolutely. So I had actually gotten into speedrunning through Shift's Battle for Bikini Bottom run from 2017. And from there, I was like, wait, I also have a Nickelodeon game that I really enjoy. And then I basically looked up if Barnyard speedrunning was a thing, and there was like one world record video with like a couple other like videos sprinkled like somewhere around the internet. So I went to SRC, saw there's like 3 people. I was like, easy pickings. Like I'll take that record easy. And then 7 years later, here I am still running the same game, and it's only gotten better. It's the more I've played this game and the more glitches have been found, the more I've just found a true appreciation for it. So it's awesome that like I've been able to really just find people that also love running this game. And you know, 67 is one of those people. So it's really thanks to the community that I'm still here, still running this game. And yeah, lots of cool people in the community.
It seems that way based on the chat. Some people turning up who are either familiar with your personal communities or the Barnyard community as a whole.
Oh yeah,
it's lovely.
I think I saw a Radix in there, and I think it's like 3 a.m. for him right now. So thanks for being up, Radix. I appreciate it.
Yeah, big shout out, big shout out.
Wow, the grind never stops. No days off.
Oh yeah. All right, so just like the first Sharp Squirter minigame, we're going to be squirting a bunch of cans here. There's a specific order to do it for this first round. I'm going to focus up just a tiny bit and hope for the best.
So similar to the other Sharp Squirter in the Barnyard, he's just going to squirt all the cans that he sees on the screen, level by level. There will be 3 levels, and ideally, there's still some RNG with how your milk kind of squirts, but you can mostly dictate where it goes. So he's finishing up level 2 here, and it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, one of the finicky things about this game is the janky lock-on mechanic with the sharp squirting. Okay, that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Hold on, give me 1 second. But yeah, basically the lock-on mechanic can act a little weird at times, and it just won't. It's a little unpredictable. It's a licensed video game from 2006. So like, what do we expect? You know. But yeah, for the most part, that specific sharp squirter is pretty difficult to get fast consistently. Like 67 had mentioned, it feels like there's some kind of RNG that goes along with the sharp squirting. So luckily, we did get pretty good luck there. But we were about to come up on our first huge sequence break. So actually, referring back to the very start, when I first got into speedrunning into this game, this was the first glitch that was actually known and utilized. So what we're basically going to do here is we're going to go to sleep, and we have to buy a handful of items at the Gopher Underground here. So the items are going to be 2 honey, an egg, and a stick of butter. So one of the honeys and then the egg and the butter are going to be used for a baking recipe later on. But the second honey that we buy is actually going to be used to sequence break. The first and pretty much only sequence break that we have in this game. That's kind of a lie. But this is like one of the big sequence breaks. It skips an entire mission that we don't have to deal with. Basically, the reason we're buying this honey is that one of the characters wants honey. So what do? You go to a forest full of bees that have honey hives, or hives full of honey, I should say. Let me just focus real quick here. And essentially, we're just sneakily going around this forest and trying to evade the bees and from being spotted from the bees. And we're just gonna skip that entire mission by buying the honey right there. So we're gonna go straight back to sleep real quick here. And then we're gonna do a quick little mission for the little chick Maddie, who basically just wants to play a game of hide and seek. And the animation skip trick that I mentioned at the very start of the run is actually going to be used pretty heavily here, because if you have about 7 chicks that you have to go and find around the barnyard. And if you skip that waving animation, it saves you about 3 seconds each time. So not very difficult to pull off this trick, but if you do mess it up once, it is a pretty huge time loss. But the main thing that I'm going to try to do as well with it when it comes to running around the barnyard here is using my stamina as much as I possibly can. Just like we mentioned with the bike, same deal when you're on your feet. You do want to actually, or I guess your hooves, you do actually want to use the sprint as efficiently as possible. So by the time that you finish the mission, you want to basically have no sprint. But this mission is pretty straightforward. You're just running around, jumping right before you talk to these chicks. That way you skip the animation. All right, so now we are going to be moving on to the honey mission that I had just mentioned the night before. So she's like, hello, honey. Speaking of, I want some honey. So we're like, okay, I'll get you some honey. It's already in my pocket. And then here you go. And that's it. That's the entire trick. It's very straightforward. You simply just go to the Gopher Underground and buy it, and that's it. So very straightforward. The first trick that was ever found within this game. So shout out to Whale, who is no longer not a part, but they have been inactive from the community for a long, long time. But shout outs to them for actually finding that trick a long, long time ago. All right, and now we're going to be heading to Dinkweed Pond real quick here. Otis is basically looking for his friends. Essentially what happened is Otis and his friends decided to hang out at Dinkweed Pond, but all of his friends forgot that they had this hangout. So what do? We have to round up all his friends, and we don't even get an invite. We don't even get an invite to hang out. We do all this work for what, man? Yeah, very silly part of this game is just how it's very silly the way like some of the missions came to be. We'll have one later on that I'll really dig into Otis about because he's he's being a wuss essentially. But we're going to try to do some BTBs around the barn here. We're going to quickly go around Ben's Hill to get to Freddy. He's the only one that's really out of the way here, so we go to him first. That way it's just easy to knock him out. And then we're going to head back to the barnyard. Wait. Did I just say what I think I said?
He said the line.
He said the line.
That's the name of the game.
Roll credits. Okay. So we're going to head to where we did the mailman mission here in just a second. We got Peck, who's just standing there. And weirdly enough, Peck has like one of the weirdest like I don't know if it's called a hitbox. Like I call it a talk box in terms of like the area where you got to talk to him. His talking area is just very odd and like weird, so you kind of have to like position your cow in a very specific way to talk to him. But luckily, no issues there. If I go too fast, sometimes you do actually hop back on the bike, which is obviously some time loss. So we try to avoid that as much as we possibly can. And right after this mission, you can only imagine what kind of mission we have right after. Another timed mission. So, yeah. This one is at least a little different. The first three are at least, like, different, but after these first three, they're kind of all samey. So, yeah, lots of fun happening in this game. I love spending 30 minutes just to timed missions. Anyways, we're going to do a quick little reverse log jump here to get to Otis. And I'll ask you, 67, do I go for the movement here right after talking to him?
You know what? Give it a try. Give it one attempt. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
All right. I like that. I will do that then. All right. So like he mentioned before, I'm going to do my best to do a super jump up to a sky plane. Okay, we got it. And that's just the first part, folks. I think that works. It does. Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. It's a little slow, but we're still gonna pull this trick off. It's still pretty easy. Okay. We fall into this out of bounds area. Please don't fall out of bounds. Please don't fall into... Oh no. And I lost my bike. Okay. Well, that's awesome. So that was not supposed to happen, of course. Anyways, we're gonna go straight to sleep after that. That does lose me a good bit of time, but no biggie. At least I got to show off the trick. Yeah, so that's one of the harder tricks. So we actually do have a category called gateless, where basically you're not allowed to open any of the gates, which means, of course, you have to work your way around those gates. And that involves a lot of super jumps and what we call fence super jumps, where you're basically doing the jumps up along an invisible wall. And then you're reaching one of the sky planes, and then you gotta like jump around a specific gate, depending on where you're at. That category is very, very difficult and not very optimized. So, you know, if anyone feels like, you know, giving that one a shot, feel free, but it'll probably take you a long, long time. Currently, only me and 67 are the ones to actually be crazy enough to try it out. Which just goes to show just how difficult that one is. But the trick that I just did there is not even pulled off in normal any %. I only do it if I like have a really bad pace and I'm just like, what's the worst that could happen with this run? You know, like I'm willing to reset, might as well give it a shot. So essentially just like a Hail Mary, and it really only saves around like 3 seconds. So for the most part, you're not gonna see me do that in actual like any % attempts. But luckily I was at least able to do it somewhat successfully there. So I'm happy I at least got to pull it off, even if it was a bit sketchy. But yeah, this is yet again just another timed missions, a timed mission where we're just defending the chicken coop from these raccoons stealing our eggs. So if we do have another announcement, now would be a lovely time.
Oh, sure. Okay. So, another community I wanted to shout out is the Frame Fatales. Now, Frame Fatales, if you're not aware, is GDQ's all-women and femme speedrunning community, and they're actually gearing up for their next event, Flame Fatales, which is actually happening September 7th through the 14th. Be sure to keep an eye out because the schedule is going to be released in early July, so it's just around the corner. And speaking of July, actually, if you're heading to SGDQ, be sure to visit the Frame Fatales table. They'll be hosting a frame changer panel and organizing 2 community meetups. They're going to have a large presence over at SGDQ, so if you're interested in that, feel free to type !FF in chat to join the Discord and stay up to date with all things Frame Fatales.
Ooh. I do want to ask this question. What do we think of the soundtrack?
Well, I'm actually, so I am watching your screen, so I can't hear it.
Oh, man. Okay, well, I think the usual, the usual consensus is like, okay, the game is like pretty dang good, but the soundtrack is fire. Like it's one of the main things that people like to point out. I forgot that I'm not properly streaming, so sorry about that.
No, all good. I'll watch the VOD back and capture the 3 hours of jams. Don't you worry.
And trust me, there's a lot of repeats, so you don't have to do the whole 3 hours.
I'm in it for the long haul.
Oh yeah. All right. So that is we are a third way through the timed missions. Woohoo! Yay! I love timed missions. Soon enough, we will be beyond them. So I'm happy that we're slowly chugging along through them. But this next mission that we're gonna do here is I don't even know a good comparison for it. Do you know 167?
Not really, to be honest. Maybe like
I forgot my bike.
I don't know. Oh yeah, the bike for sure. Need to grab that.
Basically, what we're doing here is what's it called? So let me try to think about how to describe this one. Our friend Peck that I mentioned earlier, who's obviously a chicken and not able to fly, basically wants to fly. So what are we gonna do to help him fly? We're gonna fling him with a slingshot, because that's what you do with your friends, right? If you had some human friends that wanted to fly, you just simply load them up in a catapult and then launch them across an entire field. So that's what we're basically doing with Peck here. Luckily, he does have feathers, and luckily there are going to be some rings that we fly through that give us a nice speed boost. But yeah, obviously he's not meant to be up as high as he's going to be in just a second here. And if you want to explain the most efficient way to get through this mission, feel free, 67.
Yeah. So each time you go through the ring, you will gain a feather, which is basically your boosting mechanism. So you just click to use a feather, and that's how you boost. So optimally, you will wait to go right through the ring, and then you will boost after you get your feather. That way you keep one feather during the entire mini game here. So if you ever slow down, you can speed up again.
Yeah, what can happen sometimes is that you can click the feather boost right as you're going through a ring, and it'll just completely halt your momentum. Not completely halt your momentum, but it'll slow you down a great deal. So obviously, if that happens, having that extra feather really comes in handy. So we are going to move on to, oh man, everyone's favorite part of the game, golf.
Yeah.
Specifically,
golf.
Go for golf. So what's happening here? For those that have seen the movie, you might have an idea of what we're about to be doing here. So what happens is we are going to tee off our first drive of each given hole. And after that happens, we're going to have these little gophers that help us throw the ball into the hole. But obviously, in the movie, they just use like a magnet below the green, and they're able to throw the ball like straight into the hole, essentially. But for this one, it is a very mechanical and tough mission to get through. So I'll let 67 explain a couple mechanics that some might not be able to pick up on first watch.
So what you can do is you can input prior to the ball landing, which is how he is getting a perfect directional input as his first throws. Well, perfect, I say in quotes. But ideally, you can aim where you want to off the first for your first shot, so you can get it as close as you can. And then the power is also very important. So as you'll see here, his gopher, the ring around the gopher is the power. And you want to make sure you get your power correct to get it in the hole. And if you get it before the hole, that's okay. If you get it over the hole, that's kind of a problem because you got to run past the hole and grab it. So it's kind of a game of how fast you want to throw it and how accurate you want to be. You gotta make sure you find the right balance.
Yeah, my philosophy is usually you want smooth shots rather than fast shots. Otherwise, you're just going to be throwing the ball a bunch when you really can do it. Like, let's say you throw the ball 3 times to get it to the hole, you could have done it in 1, essentially. So you want to have smooth, nice shots that are going to go straight to the hole as efficiently as possible. But yeah, it's a very difficult mini game, and there's going to be a lot of golf after just this one. So just you guys wait. There is a lot of golf to go here. And if you want to explain what I'm going to go for on this next hole as well, feel free.
So he's about to go for what we call hole 7 skip. And what you can do is for your first throw, if you get a nearly pixel perfect input for your directional input, you can throw the ball off of rock and it'll bounce to near the cup. It'll go off a hole and a gopher will throw it in ideally. So we'll see how it goes here for him.
I don't
So
think...
it bounces off the rock, it hits the back, and the gopher, the gopher didn't throw it hard enough. So that can happen from time to time. It's a matter of what angle you get off the rock.
I'm going to go for this one. All right, so this is another hole-in-one that we're going to try to go for here. I'm going to go for it in 2 throws, so I'm just going to quickly go over here. We mess up our shot on purpose. That way we end up in this little circle. I think that works. And, it doesn't. I just barely missed it. So, yeah, essentially, if I hit the ball normally, it would have ended up on either side of the path that we just went down, and then you just, like, simply throw it towards the center and then throw it in the hole. But instead, I felt like going a little risky there and trying to go for a nice little time save. But it is one of the harder ones to go for because you do have to intentionally mess up on the tee off and then try your best to throw the ball in. So unfortunately, I did not pull it off there, but no biggie. Still playing a pretty good front 9 here. And hopefully that goes in. That would have been nice. But yeah, still playing pretty decently in terms of my other throws in that golf. Usually the last 3 holes of that golf are the worst ones to get through. So fortunately, that wasn't too bad. And this will be the end of our second chapter. So 2 of 9. We're going to be moving on to the longest chapter, Coyote Season, which spans about... Oh, whoops, I split a little early. Which spans about an hour long. So yeah, it's quite the lengthy one, but it's the longest one in the game and the only one that we really have to get over. So we are just going to do our best to get through it as fast as possible. All right, so one of the reroutes that we did find from what we consider the Dutch invasion of the game, basically a bunch of Dutch people came into the community because one person streamed it, and then a bunch of time save got found from them. And so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go to the path to the right here real quick. And we're gonna go up to Ben's Hill, and we're gonna talk to Ben real quick. And this is what we call Yelman Skip, found by the person who the trick is named after. And basically what we're doing is we're just doing the set of missions we have right now in a different order than what we used to do. So yeah, we simply just go through the Veggie Patch path to get to Ben here. And then after that, we're gonna hop down to Dankweed Pond. But before I go down to Dankweed Pond, I'm quickly gonna do a couple tricks. So one of the things I've been doing is a jump storage. So I basically jump as I'm getting on the bike, and that stores a jump. So right as I get off the bike, it essentially just does a quick little jump. So as I fall into the water here, there's usually a water shaking animation, and I skipped it by storing my jump. I know that might have been a lot of info for a 2-second time save, but it's a very interesting and niche-like mechanic that you can pull off. I'm about to do another one to get up to Daisy here. So the mission that we're doing right now is basically Otis confessing his love to a cow that just arrived on the barn named Daisy. And the reason we picked up those flowers at the very start is for this exact mission. So, like I said, Otis is kind of a wuss and too scared to like bring her flowers, so he has us do his bidding. And here we are. So we're gonna do the animation or the jumps storage there real quick to hop on the bike and then get to Daisy real quick. But yeah, we basically tell her, oh, here's some flowers, not from us though. And then she's like, okay, cool, tell him I say thanks. And then that's it. And then because of this mission, we are gonna be obtaining Otis's metal detector. And 67, if you wanna explain why we need this metal detector in just a second here.
So after this mission, he is going to go to the barnyard and he's going to be metal detecting for cans for our dog Duke. So this is one of the more RNG heavy parts of the run here. There's going to be 2 main spots that are really important. You want to get a good amount of cans out of. You can get, I think it's anywhere from 0 to 5 from these spots. And ideally you get 5 from both spots because you need 10 cans to finish this mission. And if you don't get the right amount, you can go into the barn rather, and exit to reset the cans so you can dig them up again. So we're going to see what he gets here from these spots, and hopefully he gets good RNG here.
Yeah, this is like I mentioned before. I said it was about an hour in. I guess I guess my timing is off since I've been playing this game so long. I kind of forgot where we're at this rate. So about like 50 minutes into the run, it's a very heavy RNG moment. So this is one of the spots where you can get 5. We did end up getting 2, which is not a big deal. That's pretty good RNG because there are other dig spots that we can collect these cans from. The next one that we're going to go to here is going to be this clothesline to the right of the farmer's house. So this one, the maximum you can get is 4. So obviously 4 being the best, I'm going to hope that I get 4 from this spot. Let's see. 3. Okay, 3 is pretty good. So at least we have 5, so that we're halfway there. We have another spot just right here. We get 2 from, that's really good. So normally I would go into the barn and then respawn, but I'm going to press my luck and hope for some other cans to spawn here, which it seems like. Okay, we got some pretty good RNG. There we go, sweet. So we got all 10 cans that we needed. There are other spots around the barn. Okay, there are other spots around the barn that we can also collect from, but they are quite a distance away from Duke. So for the most part, we're not really gonna go for them if we don't need to. But luckily, like I said, we did get the RNG needed, so I'm not too upset about that at all. All right, and Freddy, who is a ferret, if you couldn't tell, I know he's a little funky looking. Freddy wants to eat his best friend Peck, which, you know, we've all been there. And basically, to help him, to help his needs here, we're gonna give him the vegetables that we collected at the very start, and we'll be back. Well, trust me, we'll be back for Freddy. But we're about to do another trick here, named after one of the community members, Gaming Guy. Basically, what we're going to do here is we're going to put on our glasses because we need to get to the top of the barn and we need to squirt a certain amount of distance to beat Otis's super squirt record. So we're quickly going to put on our glasses, hop on the bike, do a nice little super jump. Wow, I'm surprised I pulled it off. Okay, and then we're going to squirt before we walk into the circle. A star is going to pop on the screen and then we're going to run away. So normally, without the Gaming Guy thing, so we coined the trick Gaming Guy thing. And basically what you do is you put on the glasses and then you squirt before you get in the circle. What we used to do is we get to the circle and then like the circle automatically puts on glasses once you interact with it, and then you do the mission. But instead we can save like a second or 2. And I got a nice little super jump there, which gives me a nice speed boost down the barn ramp. You're gonna see me do that as much as I can when going beyond the barnyard. It's a very hard trick to get every single time. But the hardest part is getting actually good speed. Usually you can get like 25 meters a second. That's like the best that you can get. But for the most part, you're going to get like 20 to like 22, I'd say. So that looked like it was 24 to 25, which is pretty nice. And I will be going for another trick in a second here after this mission. So I'm going to set my bike up real quick. I'm going to collect at least 3 cherries before talking to Ben. And we're about to hop into another sharp squirter, and I'll let 67 explain this one since he did actually come up with some tech for it.
Okay, so it's going to be another sharp squirter, another 3-level sharp squirter. It's relatively routine, except for the start gets a little quick. So you want to start with a quick squirt there, and then you want to go for these 2 on the side. And he's going to jump on this log here in order to hit those ones that are pretty far away. So he executes it perfectly, and that's a pretty good level 1 right there. That's all we can ask for.
I was pretty happy with that. All right, and then we're gonna do our next round here. We're just going around the Beatty farm here, which we will see Mrs. Beatty, for those who know who that is. She's quite the character in this show, or franchise, I should say. But we're basically just gonna complete this one as fast as possible. Third round is basically just like the second round, so we're just gonna quickly get these cans here. I'm gonna focus up for this last little bit. Oh, I did miss a can. Unfortunate. I think that was close to being a gold pace, but that's fine. Ooh. Okay. And just like before, we're going to leave the mission right after. That was a very good BD farm sharp squirter, though. I'm pretty happy with the way I performed there. Getting the log jump at the start is not easy. Okay. This next clip I'm going to go for is the first glitch I found in this game called BD farm clip. So what we're going to do, we're going to go behind the house. We're going to go in this specific spot. Oh, and I'm not able to get it first try. I'm going to go for it one more time. What's supposed to happen, I'm supposed to fall into that corner. Okay, yeah, I'm just not going to get it. That's fine. What was supposed to happen is I fall into that corner. Ask for it one more time. I fall into that corner, and then I'm like under the map. And then hopefully, it teased me. Okay. Well, that's what it visually is supposed to look like, and then I'm supposed to be able to walk out of the map, and then fall into the void twice, and then once I fall into the void twice, it respawns me back at the barnyard, but obviously it did not happen the way I wanted it to, so a bit unfortunate that it didn't work, but we will have some other cool glitches similar to that one upcoming pretty soon here. All right, and just like before, we do have another lovely timed mission here in just a second. It's basically the first veggie patch defense that we did, but the raccoons are gonna come and they're gonna do their normal like attack, but it's gonna be in like different patterns basically. So as the game progresses, the raccoons get a bit more antsy and a bit more aggressive. That's basically what Miles is telling us in that dialogue there, I believe. And so what we have to do is just ensure that we don't get hit by the tomatoes from the raccoons that hop on the corners here. But this would be another great time for an announcement.
Hey, gladly. All right. So if you weren't aware, we do have a official Games Done Quick Discord. So I highly encourage you to join that. And additionally, we actually have a hotfix role that lets you stay in the loop of everything hotfix, but you can also join the server to stay in the loop on all of our upcoming events, chat with staff, and more. So if you're interested, you can use !Discord in the Twitch chat for an invite to that server and some more info about what it entails.
All right, one of the things I kind of like to do is when one of those aggressive raccoons is on the corner, I like to kind of mess with it a little bit, just, stand around it, see if I can dodge the tomatoes. But of course, if I get hit by too many tomatoes, then I fail the mission, so I don't like to do that too often. But yeah, I'm feeling a bit comfortable with my gameplay at the moment, so, why not? Yeah, I just wanted to give a little shout out to the community again, just because this game has really gotten a lot faster. We've reached, despite what the estimate on the screen says being 3 hours, 15 minutes, we've actually gotten this game down to about, in terms of my record, I've gotten to 256.09. Currently, we believe that 254 is the current limit, at least in terms of what's realistic. 253 might be possible. But that would probably take a couple more glitches that we do actually have in our back pocket, but they're kind of risky, so it's kind of hard to go for them. BD Farm Clip being a great example of one of those risky tricks that I don't really like to go for too much, just because of how inconsistent this game can act when it comes to these clips out of bound. So yeah, unfortunately, this game is still a very lengthy game. But we are slowly but surely chipping away at that time, and it's been great as someone that has been, you know, the one that has created this community. It's been great to see the amount of growth, the amount of tricks, the sense of community that has really been there over the past, like, I'd say 3 years at this point. For a long time, it was kind of just me against myself, just beating the record over and over again. And then, you know, some people came along and were like interested in the run, and then some of them took the record. So it's really cool to see how far this game has come, despite the fact that it's a very niche, interesting title. But we do have a joyride mission coming up here. So for those that know the movie, there is that scene where the Jersey cows and Otis are all in the car, and Eddie's like, "You got the stuff?" And then he's like, "It's right there, it's right there." And it's him with milk, which basically acts as their alcohol, I believe. But what we're gonna do in this mission is just drive as fast as we possibly can, which you can only do so much of. You can only hold W as hard as possible, you know? So we're gonna quickly go to sleep here because you can only do these missions at night since you are stealing cars from the humans within the world. And we're gonna be stealing the farmer's truck. And a nice little interesting thing about this mission is just how fast these cars actually go. It's on par with you know, like a Lambo, to say the least. Arguably faster. So you're gonna see in the bottom right, I believe, there's gonna be a speedometer that tells us just how fast we're gonna be going here. And you know, let's just say if you're driving around in real life and you just see, like, in the middle of the night, and you just see these cows blowing past you at the speeds that we go here, it would make everyone's head explode. So right off the bat, we're instantly going to go all the way up to 200 kilometers an hour. You know, very casual speeds in 3 seconds. And we just keep going faster. It's very interesting, the speeds that the developers decided to choose for this game, because I don't think a truck like this would be able to go this fast, but games can always prove you wrong. Now I'm going to do a little trick here that 67 came up with, where basically we're going to drive into this wall to the right here, and what that's going to do is it's going to just direct us directly into the curve there. That way we don't have to slow down or anything. It's a nice little trick that he found to find some consistency with this joyride, make it easier for everyone to get through it, because that corner is always a little hard to turn around. So thank you, 67, for finding that.
Of course.
All right. And now we are going to be moving on to our next chicken launch minigame. I call it peck flying, I believe. That's at least what the community refers to it as, but it is considered chicken launch here. And it's just going to be just like the last one, just with a different pathing, of course. As the game goes on, the minigames do get harder and harder and harder. It is a kid's game, however, so how much harder is, like, you know, it's not going to be that hard. But this one in particular, there's a specific spot where you want to use an extra feather that I'll point out once I get to it. All right, so hop off here. Like I mentioned, Peck has a weird, like, talking area, so we specifically want to talk to him in certain spots. Luckily, that one wasn't... He's not too bad when it comes to the chicken launch. Like, you can kind of gauge where to talk to him based off of where Freddy is. But I'm gonna focus up a tiny bit here. One of them, I guess I'll talk about, unless you want to talk about how you can move Peck around the two different options at 67.
Yeah, so you can either use your mouse or you can use your directional keys on your keyboard. And I prefer using the mouse because it's a lot more smooth and steady, and you don't have to make a lot of jagged movements. And I find it's a lot easier in terms of, like, actually understanding what the controls are, because if you guys can't tell, up is down and down is up for these. It's similar to, like, pilot controls in an airplane. So it's not very easy for new players to play. and get right into it. Like, this was one of the hardest, if not the hardest minigame for me to get when I first started playing the game, because it's just, there's such a disconnect between up and down and those being flipped. It's so hard. So yeah, it's one of the harder ones.
All right, and this next mission we have up here, basically humans got annoyed with gophers messing with all the holes around Izzy Springs, so they've set a bunch of gopher traps, which is not good for the progression of this game. So Otis is going to have us use our metal detector, and this is a very technical mission. I'm going to focus up just a tiny bit here. Yeah, if you want to explain how the inventory kind of works here, 67, you can do that as well.
So either what he's doing is he's pressing I to open the inventory, and either if it's already shown on the screen that the backpack is open, like right now, he would just have to open it and go to the left for his metal detector. But if the backpack goes away, such as it did right there, he's going to have to open his inventory, and his metal detector will be there immediately. So it's one of those things, you kind of got to know your menuing for this, and you got to know your routing and how you got to do it. But other than that, it's not as bad as the other one, because there's no RNG really. Like, you will get one every single time from there, no matter what. So it's not like the other one where you have to get 5 cans at one spot and get lucky. No, so this one's a little bit more consistent, but you still have to focus up.
One thing I just realized I forgot to mention as well, as you can see, it says enter to like do certain interactions around the game. I've been pressing F this entire time, so I hope no one's been thinking I've been moving my hand from my mouse to press the enter key, because that would be really difficult. But yeah, F works as enter in this game. So through dialogue, I've been spamming F and enter throughout. I realized I forgot to mention that an hour into the run, you know, just a very simple mechanic that everyone needs to learn at the very start. Just remembering to mention. But we are gonna do what's called items for miles here. Basically, these kids at night keep tipping over cows. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a tomato launcher here. And what we need for that tomato launcher is 5 different items sprinkled around the barnyard. A way that we can kind of, a way that I came up with, not I came up with, but I've been adding into the run lately is what we call ladder glitch. So this was founded by one of the community members called, named Ketchup. And this was, I think, found like 3 years ago. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna park our bike, next to this pink circle real quick, and we're gonna plant what's called a milkweed, which Root gave us at the very start when we talked to him. We're gonna grow it full way, because for some reason you grow a plant by squirting it with milk 7 times. And it essentially acts as a ladder now. So we're gonna hop on it real quick and, oh, I didn't do it right, hold on. Let me make sure I actually pull this trick off right, because it's really cool when I'm able to. Oh, I need to park it a little closer. So you gotta park the bike right next to the ladder. You gotta hop on the ladder and then press F as you're climbing up the ladder. So now we are stuck in a weird state where once we get off the bike, it's going to teleport us straight back to the ladder. So I will mention when the trick actually is pulled off, but for the time being, I'm going to quickly just collect these items, and then we're going to head back to, then we're going to hop off the bike and talk to Miles again. We're going to go for a little niche trick here where we kind of bounce the bike off the rope. It did not work. I've been able to get it every single time except for the GDQ run, of course.
How it always goes.
That's how it goes. And we're going to do a couple BTBs along the way as well, of course, to propel our speed. The cool thing about BTBs is the fact that the time save is kind of infinite almost. And the reason I say that is because we currently don't know just how like technical this trick can be. We don't know its full capabilities, as we don't really have like many tassers in the community. So we don't actually know the full potential of this trick, but ideally, in a very, like theoretically, we can like BTB everywhere and have like a ton of speed built up throughout the entire map, which would be really awesome if that was the case. But of course, at a human level, that's not very possible at the moment. But we're going to be collecting these last 3 items here real quick. It's going to be, I believe, is this the steering wheel? No, it's the cog. We're going to pick up the pogo stick next. And then we have the steering wheel last. But as we collect the steering wheel, we're going to hop off the bike, and then we're instantly going to be teleported back to that ladder. I'm holding down the S key, and it instantly teleports us back. It's a very, very cool trick that Ketchup found a long time ago. And it only recently just got added because for a long time it was believed that there was no use for it. But I did actually gold this exact split a couple days ago with it. So it's a very nice trick. And it's very flashy too. I love the way it looks too. Okay, that's just...
Actually, yeah. Yeah. Also, let me know when would be a good time to take a break, or roughly around that time, but feel free to let me know.
Sure thing. I think I'm going to do this mission, and then I'm going to go to sleep, and we can pause there.
Love it.
All right, so this is going to be the second bike race that we do here. I'm going to be focusing a lot here. If you want to explain why I'm focusing a lot, 67, and like the potential for BTBs, feel free.
Right. So this is another very stamina heavy level, or mini game rather, with your bike here. So he's trying to do a BTB or a back tire boost as he goes throughout this level to save as much stamina as possible and keep as much speed as possible. So up here is going to be one of the harder spots to keep your stamina because it's almost a perfect uphill. Like right here, you have to use almost all your stamina. Jumping helps because it'll keep your momentum forward without using any stamina. And basically, this level is one of the more important BTB levels. So you got to really watch your stamina for this one more than the other ones.
Yeah, around the time you get to this part of the race, you want to have at least 2 to 3 bars of stamina. And if you don't, then you're going to have a really rough time. Because as he mentioned, there's a lot of uphill in this particular bike race. So in the part right there back in Walnut Woods, it's mostly uphill. So for the most part, I'm tapping stamina as much as I possibly can when I get a chance. So I'm going to go for another BTB here. Like I mentioned, we do have a speedometer that we are able to use. I decided to turn it off for this particular run, but that would allow me to basically see what kind of speed I have going down the hill there. Of course, 20 would be the most ideal speed going down, but it's a very hard one to get. I'm just having a rough time on this bike race right now, but it's not a big deal. All right, and this is one of the most important jumps. You want to make sure you kind of keep your momentum there. If you land in one of these mud puddles, it completely kills your momentum. So you got to really be careful when it comes to riding through the south path back there. But we are on the last leg of this race, so I just got to pay attention to my stamina real quick. Yeah, one of the, I think when it comes to knowing the pace at which you need to be tapping the sprint key, I think I set around like 100 BPM when I was teaching someone. So we're tapping at a pretty steady pace for the most part, just to give you guys an idea. All right, so I'm going to quickly bike back to the sleeping area. And then once I finish going to sleep, we can take a pause there. I'll count us down once we're at that point.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
No problem. But I hope everyone's been enjoying the run so far. I'm having a good time. I think I'm doing a good job on commentary, explaining as much as I can.
You're crushing it. You're crushing it. Everything about this run has been great so far.
And it's I mean, I can't say that without saying thanks to 67 for being here as well, too. All right. So I'll count us down in just a moment here. I'll wait till we do the yawning animation, and then I'll tell us to pause. Hold on, hold on, hold on. All right. 3, 2, 1, break.
Lovely. Thank you so much for doing that. And yeah, that is as good a time as any. Wow. Yeah, I forgot about that background. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh, my apologies.
I was like, that just scared me. Well, anyways, we're all going to take a break to recover from that. So feel free to get up, stretch, try to pretend like you didn't see that, I guess, and we'll see you all here in just a few short moments. Alrighty, right, everybody, welcome back to Awfully Silly. If you're just tuning in, we are living in the barnyard this week. That's right. We have, for the entirety of the episode, an incredible speedrun of Barnyard, of which we're about 1/3 of the way through so far. Before we jump right back into it, I wanted to remind everybody as well, if you happen to be curious about what's coming up on Hotfix, the rest of the week, all the other shows we have on the docket, what have you, you can check out this week's schedule and explore the full season lineup at gdq.gg/hotfix. There's a lot of incredible programming coming up. All right, without further ado, though, let's throw it back to Wazip and Barnyard.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. I probably should have said that a little differently. It's okay. So
we got it.
So we're gonna go to our next mission here. No breaks here, folks. We're jumping straight back into the run. We are gonna be doing what's called cow tipping. If you want to explain it a little bit, 67, feel free.
Yep. So if you saw before the break, we built our tomato launcher, which we're going to use here offensively against some kids that are tipping cows. So what we're going to do here is we're going to talk to Ben. We're going to get in this mission.
All right. And the big thing about this mission is there's 3 different types of kids. So there's a boy who is 3 shots. There's a girl who is 2 shots and a kid who is 67 shots. I'm just kidding. A big kid that is 5 shots. Basically, what you're going to try to do is just deter them as quick as possible. So the first one is going to be up here. So it's a boy, so 3 shots. We're going to have a girl that spawns next here. We're going to shoot her twice. And then we're going to do that same thing with the next kid there. The first power-up that you get is a Mega Tomato, which makes it all a 1-shot. So we don't actually have to worry about the amount of shots that it takes to deter these children away. And then it's going to jump straight into hour 2. So this minigame does end once we get to hour 6, I believe, or hour 5. I'm not entirely sure because the minigame does actually skip an hour. One of the power-ups that... Okay, well, you do not want to get 2 times points because it is one of the most useless power-ups that you can get. But after the first 4 spawns, the spawn rates are completely random. So we have one in the top left, one on the left side over there, as we saw, and then coming from the veggie patch up there as well. And you can't hit them past a certain point towards the veggie patch. So you do have to be careful about that. This cow can also get in your way all the way to the left there for the spawn rates on the left side. So you do have to ensure that you actually shoot the tomatoes at the right time. So we do have a big kid that spawned over here. Okay, yeah. Like I said, the cow does like to get in the way for the most part, so you do have to be careful about that. But we do also have another power-up called Super Tomato. That would have been really nice if I got it right there. Where it's basically an aimbot, and it hits all of the kids that have spawned in, which is obviously really fast if you're able to get it. This is a great example, so I'm going to wait a second just to make sure that all of them spawn in. So it's going to hit those 2 girls, and then, okay, yeah, none of the other ones spawn, so not great RNG, but we'll take it. Mega Tomato is my personal favorite, as it is just a simple 1-shot, and since I know the spawn rates pretty well at this point, it's pretty easy for me to just quickly deter these kids. One of the other mechanics I forgot to mention is we're gonna also be doing a reload animation cancel, where the last shot in the chamber, if you spam the spacebar, which is a way to dodge for later missions, you can actually skip the reload animation there. And then at the end, once it said you win, I paused and then unpaused really quickly, and it basically finishes the mission a little faster. All right, with all that said, with all that word salad, we're gonna go on to our next mission, which is going to be another joyride mission. This one in particular actually has a skip that I'm gonna really easily pull off. Anyone can really pull it off. It is one of there is another joyride with another skip, which we'll get to that one later, that I'm not gonna go for because it will waste a lot of time if I don't get it first try. But this trick in particular is super duper easy. So we're gonna hop back into the night barn like we normally do for these joyride missions. Talking to Bill. Bill is one of my favorite characters, honestly. It's between him and Root. They're kind of up there for me. I don't know why. Anyways, we're gonna hop into this joyride here. And at the very start here, it's just straight away. If you want to explain how we do this trick as well, 67, you can do that.
Yeah, so I'll show you when we get up there exactly what we're doing, but really what's happening is we're getting between an outside boundary that is getting us on a road that we're really not supposed to be on. So the game will start kind of glitching out. It'll say we're going the wrong way, and we're basically going outside of the area that they're wanting us to go, and it'll essentially get us there a lot quicker. I don't know when this was found exactly or who found it, but it's an awesome trick that saves a good amount of time.
Yeah, we're basically just going to be running into a debug trigger is the best way I can describe it. Once we hit that debug trigger, obviously the minigame ends instantly. So yeah, like he just mentioned, I went out of bounds there. Technically, it's hard to tell that I'm out of bounds, but I am out of bounds by going behind a specific barrier, and then we drive in this direction, and then the minigame just ends. So pretty cool little skip. Saves around, I think, 15 to 20 seconds, if I remember correctly. It has been so long since it's been found, so I really don't remember anymore. Ever since that trick has been found, I have not played that mission casually. So, you know, that just goes to show just how like easy and simple it is to pull it off. But we are coming up on what I consider the final sharp squirter. It's not technically the last one, but it is the longest one and the hardest one. So I'll let 67 explain a little more once we get to it. But the main thing I'm going to be focusing on while I get to the mission itself is hitting back tire boosts, aka BTBs, as I've been saying since I mentioned the trick. Oops, didn't mean to run into the fence there. But what I'm trying to do as I get there is just try to build up as much speed and momentum as possible on the bike. And you can do that with these little jumps right here. I'm gonna go for a little super jump at the end as well. So yeah, little BTBs, get the super jump, very clean. And then I'm gonna spin my bike around once I get to Otis. So feel free to explain just why this is the hardest sharp squirter.
All right, so this will be the last 3 leveled sharp squirters. So this is another 3 level one, as you've seen from the other ones. And this one relies heavily on the long squirt if you want to get it quickly. So if you missed my first explanation of what a long squirt was, there is an aim mechanic in this game where you can aim in, and it'll basically what happens if you aim in and shoot simultaneously is it'll try to aim in at something, but if it can't, it'll shoot really far. So basically what's happening is you're aiming in at nothing, but it's still squirting as if you were aiming at something in the distance. So you can manage really far squirts with that, and they are used a lot in this level.
Yeah, and one thing to note about the long squirt mechanic specifically is the fact that depending on what resolution you play, the game will act a specific way about squirting milk. So if you want to explain like what the differences are between native resolution and the current resolution that I'm running at too.
So there is a widescreen patch, and then there's the native resolution that I play on. So with the native resolution, everything works kind of as intended. Your long squirt will go pretty much perfectly straight every time. But with the widescreen patch that Wazip and most other people use, it will come out at an angle to the left. So whenever you're trying to perform a long squirt, you have to look to the right in order for your long squirt to go where you want it to. So the widescreen, although it is nice to have a widescreen game, it does have its downfalls with the different angles. But as you can see, everyone that uses this patch pretty much has their own lineups. So there's several workarounds.
Yeah, I'm a maniac, and I found ways to work around this weird mechanic. It's pretty funny. I'm like the only person that has really been hard-nosed stubborn about actually making it work. Yeah, this is the end of... Oh, okay. This is the end of the mission where usually you want to do like 2 long squirts to hit the 4 cans there, but unfortunately the mission did not go the way I wanted it to, but that was still really clean. I'm still really happy with the way that that sharp squirter went. It's a good note to end on if you're able to save time out of that one. But we are going to be moving on to the next baking mission, the last one technically, as there's only 2 in this game. So like at the very start, we're going to hope that Pig gives us some good RNG, but obviously on our way to the next mission, we're going to be doing as many BTBs as possible, hoping to pick up some good speed. I'm going to go for a little... Ooh, that was really good. Okay, I'm really happy with that. But as I mentioned before, we do have Freddy here, who is a very hungry person, and I actually don't remember if I have enough apples or not. I hope I do.
I believe you do.
I guess we'll see. Basically, he's becoming a fruitarian, so we collected those 3 strawberries, the 3 cherries, and 3 apples, which I do have, thankfully. And we're just giving him all of our fruit, and he's going to eat it all. So thank you, Freddy. So now we're gonna move on to baking this birthday cake, and the reason that we're baking a B-Day cake is because the farmer's birthday is coming up. So, you know, what better way to celebrate it than to make a birthday cake for him? As I mentioned at the very start, there's 3 voice lines that you can get. I got an unlucky one. Hopefully get a lucky one. Nope. Okay. Yeah. So Pig was feeling very generous at the start of the run, and now he's kind of just, you know, raining on our parade. So it is what it is. Whatever, man. Pig has become one of the most hated characters in the game. If you want to explain why 67.
Okay. So in simple terms, there's a shorter category that we call Night Barn %, and it is basically the first 15 minutes of the game. And Pig is one of the biggest run killers. You will run into him for mud jumpers, you will run into him for the baking, and if he says one voice line wrong, you are losing up to 2 seconds, no matter what. So it's almost like Pig is God in Barnyard. If Pig doesn't like you, then oh boy, you better not even try. Because if he is having a bad day and he doesn't want to jump for mud jumpers, or he does jump, it's over. If he says a bad voice line, your run is over. So he's one of the most hated characters.
Yeah, very well said. I couldn't have said that any better myself. He really is the bane of my existence when it comes to early game. But luckily, that is, I think oh wait, no, never mind. We have one more mission that we have to deal with. But after that mission, we don't have to deal with Pig anymore. However, we are coming up on our second golf of the game. Woohoo! Golf. We love golf in this game so much.
More golf.
And this one in particular is going to be the Back 9 golf course, which the Izzy Springs is limited to 9. So as a workaround, the animals, specifically Otis, came up with 9 different holes. So we're going to be going around like the world of the barnyard that we actually don't get to see within the open world aspect itself, except for the last mission, I should say, or the last hole. But aside from that one, I wasn't able to get the super jump. Aside from that one, all these other ones are going to be in random locations that we have never seen before. So, yeah, golf. This specific golf is very difficult for RNG reasons, and I'll go into those reasons as we get to each hole. But the first one, as you're going to see in just a second here, is going to be a big pool. So, yeah, all you have to do is just throw the ball towards the pool, and you basically finish. However, because it's such a big pool, you have a pretty likely chance of the ball not bouncing in your favor. So luckily, we've kind of found ways to work around it to a certain degree. But at the same time, this game does not like to be nice to you sometimes. So I'm going to intentionally mess up my shot here, just like I did at hole 8 before. And the reason that we do that is we're going to do a quick little clip. So we're going to throw the ball. So as you can see, we're in the bottom right. We want to get to the top right. So what are we going to do? We're going to throw the ball in the corner, and then we're going to just throw it through the fence. And that's the entire clip. It's very, very easy. And we're going to do another one of those that I actually found a long time ago that ends up saving around 2 minutes over the entirety of the run, which is really, really nice for a game this long. But this hole is pretty self-explanatory. You're just working your way through these zigzags. Hopefully you don't get the pipe bounce that we have there, as you can actually get a soft lock. Oh, hey, that was really good.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a very rare occurrence right there, getting the ball straight into the hole through the pipe. Hole 13 is a pretty tricky one in terms of working it out, what kind of angles you have to throw the ball at. So this first one is going to get us through the first 2 ramps, and then we're just hopefully going to get a nice clean throw. Finish this one off. Sweet. Yeah, very easy hole, but also very easy to mess up. We did it in 2 throws, which is the most optimal way to complete that hole as well. And now we have hole 14, which you can actually complete in 1 throw if we get the good RNG. We're going to try to do it in 2. Let me focus real quick. gonna set ourselves up here. Hopefully that's gonna work. I don't think it's going to, but you never know with this game. I never like to look at where the ball is in comparison with the ball. All right, the ball with the hole, I should say. So I'm just gonna quickly get through this one because this hole is honestly really scary for a lot of new runners. But we do have hole 15 here now. So the most ideal way to get through this one is you bounce the ball through 2 ramps with 1 throw. So if I do this right, I think that works. Yeah, that should work. Oh, unlucky. So if it bounced to the other side, I wouldn't have to do that throw right there, and it would have saved me probably around like 4 seconds. But no big deal. Still a pretty clean hole 15, and then we're just gonna full power throw through the end here as well. This next hole, hole 16, is there's a way to do it quickly and efficiently, found by a community member, Erratix, who I mentioned earlier. And he really made this hole like as simple as it can be. So obviously we're gonna tee off real quick here. We're gonna quickly throw this ball to the left of this big ramp that's in front of us. And we're gonna try to ride the ball alongside the leftmost wall. And it's gonna bounce through both of these ramps. We go to the bottom here, go directly right with the arrow, and then it should be in a very good, efficient spot. What used to happen is that we'd kind of just throw the ball through these ramps and hope that it would go through 2 at once. But now we don't even have to worry about that. Thanks to Erratix's innovation with this game. And he really is to blame for a lot of the time save found in, in golf. Yeah, so thanks Erratix for that. Hole 17, so as you can see, it's a very long course. You kind of have to go in a circle all the way around, like counterclockwise. But what we're going to do instead of doing this entire course is we're going to throw the ball into this corner, go on the other side of this fence, and we just skip the entire course. Yeah, very simple. That ends up saving us at least like 40 seconds just on this hole alone. So yeah, very clean hole 17. Wow, that's really good.
Nice.
All right, and now we are gonna end on the barnyard hole. So 67, if you want to explain the setup I'm about to do here after the ramp.
Yep, so similar to the hole 7 lineup on the front 9, you can input prior to picking up the ball and get a perfect lineup. So what he's doing is he's holding W and A there, so he gets the perfect lineup for this throw here, and he gets it right through the hoop almost every time.
Yeah, what used to be a very finicky loop is now just super duper easy thanks to 67 finding a nice little setup, and I can't help but thank 67 for a good bit of optimization in terms of the micro details in this game. It's been real nice. But that's a pretty good goal. I'm very happy with that. That was like probably the best demonstration outside of hole 14 that I could have done. So yeah, very nice. We will be seeing more golf later, and guess what, guys? It's going to be the exact same holes that we just saw. So get ready to see those same exact holes again. Anyways, we are going to be moving on to a very special and interesting mission. I don't really know how else to describe it outside of those 2 adjectives. Oh, I did not get the momentum that I wanted there. Like I said, if you fall into the mud pit, you lose a lot of speed. So you always want to avoid falling into the mud puddles. But this marks actually the halfway point of the run pretty perfectly in terms of, like, once you finish Golf 2, it's basically halfway. So it's always nice to know whether or not you're on a pretty good, like, pace out of Golf 2. That's usually the marker that we do. But before we move on to the next set of day missions, which is going to be based around a charity event, we are going to quickly do this little mission for our friend Freddy. So Freddy's been having problems, as I mentioned, where you want to eat your friend, as we all relate to, of course, where you want to eat your friends. And what we're going to do to solve that problem is something that I think we can all, again, relate to. So Peck is standing right next to him, worrying about him because he's having crazy nightmares. So what do you do when your friend is having crazy nightmares? Well, it's simple. You put on some sunglasses, you hop into their mind while they're asleep, and then you squirt them with milk in their dream. Right? We all do that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And of course,
definitely.
Your friend is also like a devil for some reason.
Now that's true. That's just accurate.
It always happens. So just like the first raccoon defense minigame, it's just simply deterring Freddy away from grabbing what is actually like baked, like cooked chicken from the chicken coop. So just like before with the other time missions, this would be a great time for an announcement if we have any.
Oh, absolutely. If you were watching this live, thank you for watching this live, of course. But if you happen to, say, have missed Perilous Paths earlier or some other hotfix shows, or maybe you didn't catch all of Juneteenth or anything like that, special events, GDQ marathons, whatever the case may be, head on over to youtube.com/gamesdonequick. And if you're watching this on YouTube at some point in the future, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you can stay up to date with GDQ.
I almost wanted to do the notification bell yeah, like a very basic like clip art one, but I was holding back.
That would have been very funny.
Well, I'll keep it in mind for next time.
There you go.
Yeah, this mission, very simple. So one of the tricks that I actually, I don't know if I found it. I think I did. I have a very bad memory of, at least right now, I'm having a very bad memory of who did what. But you can squirt through the fence to deter Freddy like instantly in that one spot that I just did it at. It's a nice little time save and a timed mission. It's a nice little like quality of life thing that you can do during these missions to make it a little easier for yourself. So like I said, squirt the milk, and then you can see Freddy kind of pops up over the fence for a second there. And then, of course, with the raccoon one, you actually have to throw the raccoons away. And the luxury of this mission and another one that we will get to that's exactly like this, not to spoil anything, you don't have to throw Freddy away like you do with the raccoons. So arguably, this mission is actually easier, which is kind of strange because other missions don't work in that way. It works that the missions get harder as time goes along, but for some reason, this this specific mission gets easier. So yeah, very, very cool. I did want to give a quick shout out to one of our main modders of the game, Infinite Core, who helped actually create the mod that I'm currently running the game on. He has been a huge part of getting this game kind of noticed by people with his modding videos on YouTube and stuff. So thank you, Infinite Core, for making the speedrun mod. One of the main things that we can do in the golf minigames is that we can actually go into the mod menu and continually do a hole over and over and over again for as long as we'd like to, which we did not have the luxury of doing before. So huge thanks to Infinite Core for really helping the community out when we needed it. So, but that will be the end of that mission, of course. So now we're gonna head back to sleep, and from there we're gonna be doing the charity minigames. These ones are arguably the hardest of Coyote season. Not only are they at the very end of Coyote season, but there's a specific bike race that we do, a trick within that bike race that is really, really difficult to pull off consistently, at least if you don't have a trained eye like I do, which I did come up with a lineup for it that makes it somewhat consistent, but it still gives me issues on occasion. So just like we saw before the break, we're gonna get a little hello from a friend that's below this game on my desktop, because we're going to be doing some alt tabs again in the mud jump minigame. So just like before, we're going to do alt tabs right as the pipe is about to hit the pigs. And as 67 had mentioned, this is a very difficult mission to do quickly and efficiently. So let's all say hello to Slender Word in a second here. Hey, buddy.
Slender Word.
Yeah, so if they jump over the pipe, it's usually around, like, I don't even know how much time lost at this point. I think like a second and a half, depending on where the pipe is, but that was a pretty good demonstration of mud jump. I can't be too upset about that. Just a mission that I'm used to losing time on, unfortunately, because it's just very, very difficult to get the right RNG, because RNG is RNG, so you really have no control over it. But that will be the end of pig missions, as far as I'm aware, yes. So, goodbye, pig. You are the bane of my existence, and I will not miss you. So we're going to talk to Daisy again. So the reason we're doing this charity, as you can see, this dog that is shaking right next to her with a 13 on his little birthday hat is turning 13. His name is Everett. And, you know, he's an old man. So we want to send him off properly with a nice little cruise, I believe is the storyline, if I'm not mistaken. So what we have to do for that is basically gather 1,000 gopher bucks, which if you can see in the top right, we have enough gopher bucks, but for some reason you have to do all these missions anyways, because one of the main things this game has you do is every single mission that is an exclamation point above someone's head. Even if it's the smallest thing, like talking to them to gain a little piece of info, it's still, the game is still going to force you to do it. There's no such thing as a side mission in this game, sadly. But just like the last chicken launch minigame, this is the exact same, just with a bunch of coins that you can collect. So for this mission, it's really easy to just, you know, follow the coins with your mouse, essentially, and then the mission's over. Very, very self-explanatory. I also got a really nice super sign jump, I guess I should say, to get a lot of momentum towards Peck here before getting to the mission. So that was real cool. But we do have our third bike race coming up here in just a second. This one, like I said, very, very difficult. And once we get into the mission, or once we get closer to the mission, I'll have 67 explain it a little bit more. But this one in particular had a bunch of different ways to do it initially. So there's like 3 different ways you can do it fast, but there's one specific way that is like the fastest, of course. And that's the way that I'm going to be doing it. And yeah, if you want to take it away, 67, and explain how we do this one. Obviously, it'll be easier once we have a visual representation of what we're doing, but...
So as we talked about before, there are 2 jump buttons in this game. Whether it was on purpose or not, who knows, but you can use both of them at the same time and they do a super jump. So if you lean back and you do a super jump repeatedly against a wall, it'll propel you upwards. And in this bike race, what we're going to try to do is get over an invisible wall that'll get us out of bounds so we can get further into the race. So for a beginner, this is one of the harder tricks to do, but with consistency, it can get done.
Very interesting bike placement on my part. Yeah, so there's a weird part of the wall that I'm going to be aiming for in particular. It's kind of hard to explain while I'm doing the run itself, but basically there's 2 little strips of like rock that I'm looking for towards the left side. And I'm going to just try to do like what 67 just said. I'm going to try to do some super jumps to jump over it. So I'm going to focus. All right, and I got it first try. Sweet. This is one of the harder tricks. This one was found by a community member, Niaz, who actually found a lot of the bike tech within this game in terms of the bike races and the super jump. Mikmos found this. Sorry, Mikmos, who is one of the older members and actually had the world record for some time. He found the super jump, and then Niaz came up with a bunch of super jump useful super jump tech, basically. But yeah, this trick is very, very clean looking, but if you don't get it like in the first try, you're losing a lot of time, of course. Man, the BTBs are suffering today. just like they have been the past 2 days. I've just not had an easy time with this trick.
They look tough.
They're pretty hard. All right, I'm gonna focus again.
He's gonna lean back, do a super jump.
Wasn't able to get it.
It's okay if you don't get it, because you can do a recovery here where he lands up on this hill where it loses a little bit of time, but it's still faster than going all the way around like the normal cows do.
Yeah, one thing in particular about Bike Race 3 Skip is the fact that you have to hit a certain checkpoint before you actually pull the trick off, or else you're not going to be able to actually finish the bike race as normal. So it works almost similar to a Mario Kart Wii like super shortcut, or ultra shortcut, I should say, which the next bike race will utilize that, and I'll get into that as we get closer to it, of course. But the checkpoint mechanic in this game is very specific about how it wants to operate. So you just got to make sure that you hit the checkpoint before doing any tricks. So yeah, like before, just gonna bail across the finish line. That way we skip the cutscene. Yeah, that not hitting that trick lost me around like 10 seconds or so, which is not a huge deal, but obviously in a world record run, that's not what you're wanting for the most part. So hitting it both times is really essential. And you know what? I'm going to go for a quick little trick here because the bike is in a weird spot, just because I feel like it. This is one of the tricks utilized in Gateless. So let me just do this real quick. This one's a little harder to pull off than the others, but could be useful in an actual run, maybe, if we are able to find a way to actually introduce it. So we're going to bail off our bike once we get to this plane on top of the world here, and we're going to fall into the void twice. And the reason we do that is it's going to instantly spawn us back at the barnyard. Roll the credits. And then we're going to talk to Daisy again.
Would you like to
But yeah, we teleport straight back to the barnyard, and we talk to Daisy, and then we talk to Ben to do the last official sharp squirter. This one is only 1 round. So like 67 has been saying this entire time, all the other ones are 3 rounds. This one is just 1. So I'm gonna just focus up a little bit here.
So as you can see, this takes place in the barnyard, similar to the first sharp squirter. And some of the cans are actually placed in the same spot as well. So this is not very different from the other, or from the first sharp squirter, I should say.
But yeah, very easy. Once you get all the cans, obviously leave right away. So very, very simple sharp squirter. I think the idea behind that one, as you all saw while we were in it, there was a ton of coins that you can collect around the place. And if you do that, obviously you're just, farming coins, but for the most part, it's not really, it's not a quick way to collect coins. So we don't really need to do it. And because I did the respawn mechanic, I do have to actually collect my bike at the bike stop that's right there. So every time you fall into the void twice, you will have your bike respawn at a bike stop. So you just have to always keep that in mind in case it falls out of the map or something like that as well. But we are going to be doing another golf. This is the 3rd one we're going to do. It's exactly the same as the first one, just with coins, just like last time. So we're gonna get to Otis here real quick, spin the bike around like we always do. And I'm gonna focus up yet again, because I do wanna actually try a little harder on this one. I've been doing a lot of talking.
So if anyone missed the first front 9, some key things you can do here is about right now when the ball lands, you can input a directional input, and you can get an input in before it registers. So what he was doing there is facing right, so instantly he throws it to the right. And similar to a bunch of other mini games in this game, there is still RNG. Like, it doesn't matter how well you play, the golf ball will spawn in a different spot each time. No matter how you press the arrows at the start, it'll always spawn in a different spot. I think there's 4 different spawns for each map, or each hole rather.
You gotta love those golfers.
Yeah, some holes are a little more subtle than others in terms of the spots, though. That is one of the hardest hole-in-ones to get, in my opinion, just because the angle just needs to be perfect. But that might just be a skill issue, to be honest. I say that, but actually, hole 7 and hole 8 exist, so. But yeah, getting a hole-in-one on that hole 3 is very good, of course. Okay. Oh, man.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. Like 67 had mentioned, obviously if it goes past, you have to go run and grab it, so that loses a lot of time. But what's nice about the front 9 is about more than half of the holes are, you can complete them in 1 throw, so this isn't one of those holes, for example. But yeah, it's the ones that you can't, it's just about completing it in as little throws as possible, of course. And those ones, it really just depends on how like smoothly you can pull these throws off. I'm gonna stop talking because I need to focus. These next 3 holes are gonna be scary. I'm gonna go for the hole 8 hole-in-one as well because I might as well.
All right, I like it. So trying for hole 7 skip here, he's going to try to hit it off this rock, which narrowly misses. It happens. It's okay. The gopher will throw it back in relatively the same spot where you would do it in a normal without the skip run.
Okay.
Oh, yeah!
And hole 8 skip, this is one of the most important ones if you're doing the individual level for front 9. So you want to purposely miss the first 2 skill checks, I call them. And if you get a bad spawn on the side, you have to throw it to the middle.
Oh, that's just, I think, too much power.
I think too much power, maybe.
Yeah. There's a chance that it bounces back in, but we can't even see where the ball is right now, so it doesn't even matter. Yeah, it's in a very bad spot. Yeah, that one I honestly didn't really practice too much before this run, so that's kind of just on me for missing it. Ooh, almost a clean recovery. Yeah, usually I never go for hole 8 hole-in-one just because it's not even worth the time. If you miss it, it loses you around 10 to 15 seconds. I think it's more 15 to 20 at this point. So yeah, like 67 had mentioned, unless you're doing ILs, individual levels, it's really not worth going for. Unless you really, really need time save, which sometimes I'm crazy enough to do it even when I'm ahead. So yeah. Still a pretty good front 9 regardless of the hole 8 time loss. And we're actually coming up on the end of this chapter. Did you guys remember that this game had chapters? I didn't. This chapter is so long. It is so long. But luckily, it is the longest one, which means that from here on out, this game is pretty downhill in terms of the speed. We're close to being a third of the way through. But for this mission, it's as simple as some clean biking, some clean bike tech. And we're going to see how it goes. All right, pretty good. The main thing I want to ensure there is that I don't run into that mud puddle. If I do, then it's just a lot of time lost, like I keep mentioning. I'm going to go for a little super jump here as well, if I'm able to. Sweet. All right. Finally, we reached the end of Coyote season, and one of the ongoing jokes that me and Erratix have is the fact that because Coyote season is so long and because you can lose so much time in so many different places, like usually your time will go up and it'll go down and it'll go up and go down. So by the time you're done with your mission, it'll be about the same as your pace will be around the same as the end of your second chapter. And it's like, oh, well, nothing happened in Coyote season, I guess. It was just a clean, consistent Coyote season with no issues whatsoever. Yeah, Coyote season is just very, very daunting in terms of getting a run out of it. Because once you get a run out of it with a good pace, you're pretty much set to like have a pretty good run, or at least a good shot at PBing. But you really got to get through that slog before you get here, I should say. So this next mission is going to be the Milk Bar. In the Milk Bar, if you guys know the old arcade game called Tapper, where you're serving bar patrons, it's essentially the exact same thing, but we're going to end it quickly. So what we're going to do here, we're going to throw 2 half-full glasses real quick. And then we're going to collect their glasses as soon as possible. Once we get to the next round, we're going to throw 7 glasses. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then because we have 5 glasses in the top right, that's essentially our lives. So if you break 5 glasses, the mission ends. All we need to end with is 50 points, which we did. So very straightforward, easy mission. There was actually a time where you could crash your game on that mission. If a glass broke as you were filling another one up, the game would just crash, which happened on my very first run of this game, about 2.5 hours into it, which really sucks. Wow. So yeah, luckily, like I mentioned, we are playing on a modded version of the game that prevents that crash from happening. So thank you again, Infinite Core, for preventing that from happening. But my skill is definitely much better. Oh my God, I can't believe I just skipped the cutscene. So huge detail that I just skipped. Ben died. Ben is dead.
Ben, what?
I'm so sorry. I completely forgot what I was doing. Yeah, so Ben was, while everyone was having fun at Everett's party, his send-away party, Ben was defending the barnyard as he normally does. And as he did that, the coyotes in the area overwhelmed him to the point where he just had no more strength after defending them from collecting, or from stealing the chicks, I should say. So yeah, our good cow Ben is now dead and gone. and he will sorely be missed. And yeah, I don't have much else to say. I'm kind of grieving the fact that I skipped that cutscene right now. I'm gonna go for a quick little super jump. Sweet, that's a very hard one to get. All right. So yeah, because Ben is dead and Otis is obviously Ben's son, Otis is very sad, as you can see right there. So Ben's favorite flower was the bluebells. So we're going to place a bunch of bluebells, a bunch being 10 flowers, on his grave to honor him. So yeah, Otis gets happy for a second to see the flowers, and then he goes back to mourning, which is completely understandable. And don't worry, Otis has a very funny way of, not funny, a very annoying way of getting through his, or grieving, I should say. And it really is a pain for speedrunners, I'll tell you that much. But now the chicks around the barnyard that are Hannah's children want to sing a song for Otis, so we're gonna go talk to Maddie real quick, and she's basically gonna tell us, go round everyone up, and we're gonna go to Ben's Hill and sing for Otis. The Wii version of this game actually has a bunch of cutscenes that did not make this version of the game, because for some reason the Wii, by the way, this game is a Wii launch title, just a quick little tidbit, which is very random and doesn't make any sense. But because it's a Wii launch title, I guess the developers felt like they needed to add a couple things to make it feel a little more complete. And one of those things is a cutscene that basically shows the chicks singing to Otis and making him happy again, which is a very sweet little detail that they added. But unfortunately, we will not be able to witness that cutscene here. Another cutscene that they had as well showcases the farmer seeing the B-Day cake that we left for him on his front porch. So that's a cute little detail that the developers added. And we did a nice little reverse log jump there. One thing you might be noticing that I am doing, I'm actually waving. I'm doing the animation to wave at the chicks. And the reason that I'm doing that is because it actually saves no time skipping that animation for this mission. So I'm just going to be parking as close as I possibly can next to the chicks, and that's just how we're going to quickly finish this mission. But yeah, the most efficient way to complete this mission is just to be in the talking area for these chicks as soon as you get off the bike. That way, right when you get off, you go into the dialogue, and then you're instantly able to hop right back on the bike. It's a very clean mission, I will say. Or you can complete it very cleanly if you have my skill set. Yeah, this last one is the trickiest one though. And yeah, so Everett's Party was the last chapter that we just did. It lasted one mission. We're about to end the next chapter. So like I said, the first 3 chapters are the longest, and then the last 6 chapters are very, very short. So luckily this game is very fast once you get past coyote season. All right, so we're gonna talk to Maddie, and she's basically telling us thank you for rounding everyone up, and now I'm gonna sing a song to Otis. And I think this is Golding. Oh, close to Golding. That would have been nice.
Otis got back to find.
All right, so as I mentioned before, Otis is grieving. So how do you grieve? You force your friends to play 18 holes of golf. Oh man, I've not been looking forward to this mission. So this is actually the longest split in the entire game, which is interesting because I feel like the timed missions would kind of be the longer, or I guess not really, but in terms of the entirety of the game, the fact that golf is the longest mission overall is pretty daunting, because golf, like I mentioned, is very, very difficult. In terms of pulling off all the little tricks and little micro adjustments that need to be made. Yeah, 67, if you want to like mention what the IL comparison is for like the front 9, the back 9, and the full 18, and like just how unoptimized the full 18 is compared to the others, feel free.
Yeah, so the front 9, I think the record is sitting at a good 256 right now.
He says he thinks, but he has the record.
Yeah.
It could be off by a sec. I think it's 256. It could be 257. I can't remember. But the back 9, if I'm not mistaken, is what, like a 4? What do you got?
444, I believe.
444 on the back. And then just put this in for reference. I have the front 9 record, and my full 18, my best time so far recorded, is a 9-minute time. So if you put the front 9, which is just a little bit below 3 minutes, and then the back 9, which is supposed to be about 4.5 minutes, maybe a little bit more, that should be sitting around like 7.5 minutes at most. But that just proves how hard it is to do all of these tricks one after another in all 18 holes. It really is just, it's really an endurance test, really.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that word, this entire game is an endurance test because there's a lot of repeated missions throughout. And that's honestly kind of why I love this game. It really does test the mental for just how well you can pull off the same trick over and over and over again throughout a 3-hour time span. And due to the fact that I've dedicated so much time, like we've really gotten to a point where I'm like impressed with how fast the game is, even though it's still, you know, just a little under 3 hours. But regardless, the fact that we've actually pushed the time down as much as we have is really, really impressive.
All right.
And this golf, we call it golf 4 because it's just easier to list them off one by one throughout the entirety of the run. The full 18/golf 4 is really just one of the hardest parts of the run for most runners, just by the sheer length of this golf. It's really hard.
You were born to golf.
And I am curious, Conception, considering that you are working on a golf-related thing, what is your opinion on what you're seeing so far with this golf gameplay?
So I personally think there should be more gophers in golf. I think there's not enough. I think there is an opportunity here for people to get hole-in-ones more often, and it's an untapped market. That's what I think.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, there's definitely not enough gophers. And we finally get the hole-in-one on hole 7. That is really nice. Very, very nice.
See? Try doing that by yourself. You can't.
Yeah, I like the gopher aspect of this very much. The fact that you're just like playing this little dude that throws the ball is just always a little funny.
Yeah. I love it.
Ah, man. Yeah, hole 8 is one of the harder ones to do efficiently, I'd argue, just because of the room for error that the hole allows for, where it can just like go down that little slope. It really is just one of the scarier holes in the front 9. All right, but we are ending this front 9 pretty efficiently. I'm doing pretty well so far. So I hope that this back half of golf can really go well. But yeah, just like we saw before on the second golf, we're going to be doing the back 9 now, which is a bunch of makeshift holes that Otis came up with. So I'm going to really focus for this one because this one takes a lot of focus. If we do have any announcements, now would also be a good time.
Sure. Here.
Oh, yeah!
Actually, as opposed to an announcement, because we've run through a good amount of them, I want to save one for our break, though. As opposed to an announcement, I have a question.
Okay.
Now, one thing that happens sometimes when on Awfully Silly, when I ask people to join the game, join the show, is sometimes because the name of the show is Awfully Silly, people think like oh, so that means my game is bad, right? Now, I am of the opinion, just based off of looking only, that this game is definitely more silly than awful, for sure. But I'm curious what you think as somebody who runs this game regularly and things.
Once I do this throw, I'll do my answer.
Okay. Yeah. Focus on the game. More important.
So it's funny. It's great that you asked that question. That's a good question because, I think, like you mentioned, when most people are asked to be on this show, it kind of does feel like, oh, so you're saying my game is bad, which, I think based off my first impression, that's kind of like what I thought for a second. And then I'm like, dude, you're going to be on freaking Hotfix. Like, does it really matter? Because not only is this a great place to, showcase your speedrun, it's also a great place to subvert expectations. And I think that this game does a great job at that. I think it really does surprise many people with how solidly built it really is. And, I think the fact that the speedrun has gotten so much better over the years really does just help prove my point even more that not only is this game silly, but it can sometimes, like the show says, it can be awful sometimes in terms of glitches that just don't go your way or just weird bugs that happen. But it also is a very fun game to play casually. And yeah, I appreciate the fact that you even considered me in the first place to be on this show. And it really is like this game. It really does make me feel silly sometimes. It really, you know, when people play this game casually, for the most part, it brings out like a side of them that they didn't know exists. I like to say.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, I think that this game really does just like surprise people with how decently made it is. Wow, this 15 has been just not my haul today.
It's a rough one.
Yeah, did I answer the entire question? I think I forgot a part.
You absolutely did. Yeah, one thing I always like to bring up as well now, when it comes to speedruns in gaming, awful is more of a moniker than anything. Because as somebody who's been doing the show for years and also runs many awful and silly games in that genre, I never have had more joy gaming than when I have playing those games, probably. So it is not because of quality concerns or whatever that awful exists in the speedrunning universe. It's just a moniker for comedy, essentially.
Absolutely, yeah. No.
But yeah, there are so, and to add to that as well, I've never met more dedicated people to those communities than people who run these kinds of games.
Absolutely.
They're the most dedicated speedrunners I've ever seen. They're keeping communities on their backs. I love it so much.
Can't help but agree. I can't think of any like speedruns off the top of my head that like are like silly, but also are like really tech heavy. But I definitely understand what you're talking about when it comes to that. Like, there's definitely there's a niche market for people who love just silly speed games. Like there's plenty of games out there that can offer that. So, and I think this is definitely up there for one of them.
Yeah, for sure. And if you want further proof of that, I've been doing the show close to 4 years now, and I've never repeated a game one time.
Wow.
I've only had featured games once on the show because there are truly so many cool games and communities out there that fit this bill. So.
Well, I'm glad that you are doing the job that us niche silly speed games need. A nice little platform to showcase our silly speed runs. So thank you again.
Pleasure is definitely all mine, for sure.
All right, so just like 67 had mentioned before, I did the nice little loop throw there. That loop used to be one of the bigger hurdles to get through, as we had mentioned. So I'm glad that we have that set up. During hole 16, I actually did a little risky throw. I'm sure 67 noticed that like you almost never want to go for if you're on a good pace, just because it can really ruin your run if you mess up that throw. So I'm glad that it paid off.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah, that was a really clean full 18, though. I'm really happy with that. All right. So we actually move on to, I think, both of our favorite segments. I think this is one of our favorites.
This is my favorite part.
Yeah, so feel free to explain, because I've been doing a lot of talking.
All right, so Joey, our gopher buddy here, he's going to have us go around the map and get him some items. So basically the way we do this is, the routing was different at one point until we got a different routing. But basically it involves a bunch of super jumps, really well-timed super jumps, that is, and a lot of consistency with those super jumps. You need to hit, I think it's 3 or 4 of them in a row in order to get this clean. So it's one of the harder splits, but also my favorite because of its difficulty.
Definitely, and I'm going to be adding to that difficulty with a risky strat called Grizzly Gulch Clip. Very, very inconsistent. Just like what we saw with BD Farm Clip, it kind of just has like a way of acting like it, like, what am I trying to say? The visual representation for when it works kind of just is like a facade. Like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like it really depends on how the game is feeling that day. And there's really no way to control that. So yeah, we'll see how well I can perform this Gulch Clip, if at all. I did want to ask, did we want to do our second break soon as well?
Yeah, we're coming right up on that time, so whenever feels good to you.
Okay, sweet. I think we'll do it after this Joyride mission that I'm going to be coming up on right after. I think that'll be a great time.
Lovely.
All right, and we are going to be buying a bike upgrade here. This essentially allows us to use a lot more stamina on the bike, and it really does come in handy for the last bike race that we do. But yeah, for the most part, you're just able to use a lot more stamina. So I am going to focus up here because there are super jumps like 67 had mentioned coming up in just a sec here. But yeah, weirdly, the audio is about to cut out once we get to this part 2.
Oh, okay. One of those situations. Got you.
Oh, sweet.
So start with a super jump up and turn to the left. First, you're going to grab your watering can. He hits the second super jump where he grabs the umbrella and the gramophone.
Okay, well, I messed up the movement, but let's just do another super jump.
It's all good, though. Another super jump. It's all it takes. He's going to go pick up this last item here.
All right, and just like with BD Farm Clip, we're going to try our best to bail off the bike in a specific spot. Doesn't work the first time. Oh, it does. Never mind. Okay, that was really cool.
Oh,
That was nice.
That is one of the most inconsistent tricks I have up my sleeve. So I'm really glad that paid off because I was not able to get it for like a full minute last time I was on Hotfix. So that is really, really cool that I got that. I'm gonna do a nice little sign jump here to try to gain more speed, but I kind of killed my speed at the end there. Whoops. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know if that saves time. I just think it looks really cool. So I'm really glad that paid off.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I don't think I got a single, during my last hotfix, I don't think I got a single clip. So I'm really happy that I got at least one in this run. All right, and okay, so I think if there's anyone that would like to explain this next trick that I'm not gonna go for, I think it's you, 67. So please take the stage.
So just to preface this, I had really never heard about this until a couple months ago, and then I started to try it, and I booted up the game. I gave it a try for about 15 minutes, and I hit the trick first try. So basically, what the trick is you're going at an angle out of bounds on this invisible wall to where you clip through it. It's almost a 1 in 100. But basically the way I prefaced it that way is because I did a 2-hour stream right after I got it, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do a stream and I'm gonna boot it up and we're gonna hit it. I didn't hit it until the very last run of the day. So I was driving this course that you're watching, the first minute of this course, probably over 200 times, just running into a wall every single time and hoping that I would get through. And on the final attempt of the night, it finally worked. And I believe it saves roughly 40 seconds off the normal route. And
wow.
Yeah, it's a really good time save if you can get it, but it's almost never good to go for in a run, which Wazip has gotten it in a run before.
Twice.
But it was, yeah, twice. But yeah, it's pretty crazy trick. So normally you would turn left here and go out of bounds for it if you want to hit the trick, but we're just going to go straight and do it normal here.
Yeah.
Is it like one of those situations where it's like, oh, I'm desperate, I could really use that 40-second time save, I'll then go for it, but only because I'm desperate? Yeah, okay,
Absolutely.
I got it.
And it's one of those mindsets. It's like, if I don't get this, run's over no matter what. So, because if you don't get it, you have to back up, try again, and that's all your time save lost right there. So first try, or it's almost useless.
Wow.
All right,
Hopefully never gets to the point where it's dependent on that trick.
Yeah.
You say that, but I'm kind of scared. It's looking like it might be getting to that
there?
point soon.
No. Oh no.
I won't say for sure. That's I mentioned earlier, like I think the current human limit, it would be like 253 because my record is 256. But I think to get to 252, at least with current strats, it would take Joyride 3 skip, and I really don't want to get to that point. I'm really scared of that. So this is exactly where you'd clip back inbounds, essentially, that right back there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, saves a huge amount of time, but very, very inconsistent. And I was on a gold pace until I ran into the cop back there, so that's really cool. I was thinking about going for that trick, but like it's not worth it. It's really just not worth it,
Sure.
even in a marathon run, because it's just wasting probably a minute to 2 minutes. So for the sake of saving us some time through this lengthy game, we're gonna just not go for it at all. But yeah, 67 had a crazy experience of actually pulling it off on the very last run, and in my opinion, the most like optimal way that he could have clipped through the wall as well. So that's going to be an IL that I'm never going to beat, I think. But never say never. All right. From that... Oh, wait. I forgot we're supposed to pause. Is it okay if we do it after this next mission?
Yeah. Yep. You're okay.
All right. I'll count us down when we're ready to do that. I got so caught up in explaining the lore behind that trick.
That's all. It was intense. I'm glad you did.
Very. Okay, so this is the 4th bike race we're going to do. So as I mentioned before, the checkpoint system is very specific in this game. So with that in mind, we can actually basically skip an entire bike race track. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn around after a specific point, go in the wrong direction, and then it's going to just instantly put us in first place. But before we do that, we're going to try to go for a super jump at the very start here to get up to the bridge to our left. Okay, perfect. Love that I get that super jump. So we're going to turn around right away. I'm going to jump over these Jersey cows because they can kind of knock you off your bike, and then you're pointed in the correct direction again, which you don't want to have happen. But yeah, we're going to be going the wrong way, and the game's going to be yelling at us wrong way until we jump across the log, and then we're instantly in first. Very simple bike race skip. Definitely not as hard as the Mario Kart Wii super ultra shortcuts, but you know, we like to compare it to that because that's the easiest comparison we have. But yeah, right after I finish right as I cross the finish line and do the dialogue for the Jersey cows, we can take our break. So I'll count us down once we get close to it. All right, so like we've been doing for every single bike race, that was a little scary. We're gonna just bail across the finish line right here. Sweet. All right, so we're gonna talk to the Jersey cows, and then I'll do the countdown.
Lovely.
All right, 3, 2, 1, pause.
All excellent. No sleep paralysis, Squidward, this time. That's okay. There, I saw it. All right, everybody, we're going to take one final break before we finish up this run. Before we do so, I would like to thank everyone for supporting GDQ Hotfix with your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits. Your contributions help keep the shows running, so we appreciate that very, very much. If you're enjoying the stream, consider subscribing for exclusive emotes, ad-free viewing, and you can have access to chat during the replays that occur. You can always also support the stream by sharing Games Done Quick channel with your friends. Share us, let us know when we're live. We appreciate all that. But let's go ahead and get that break going. We're gonna take a little break here, so feel free, get up, stretch, do what you got to do, and we'll see you here in just a few short moments. All right, welcome back to Awfully Silly, everybody. If you're just tuning in, we are having a night in the barnyard. That's right, we're about 2/3-ish of the way through a incredible speedrun of Barnyard by Wazip here, and we're just going to jump right back into it because I'm really excited to see how this finishes out. So Wazip, whenever you're ready.
Alrighty, let's go on. Let's go on. Go.
All right.
3, 2, 1, go. Alrighty. So we had just finished our bike race last we just saw about 5 minutes ago. So now we're going to be moving on to the first hole stomping mission. If you want to explain why we're stomping the holes, 67, feel free.
Yeah, so basically the raccoons on this barnyard are mischievous, man. They will get into everything they can. And what they've done is they've messed up the water pipes at the barnyard. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna get hired by Miles to actually go and stomp out the holes. And what Wazip just did there is pick up a flower, which actually makes the animation of the hole stomping not happen. So what he can do is just go press F over it and it'll instantly go away.
Perfect explanation. Yeah, we're gonna go as quickly as we possibly can. They're in very specific spots. So we start with that one. We're gonna go to the sleeping area real quick. I'm having a hard time getting that one smoothly lately. Oh well. But it's basically gonna be in a circle around towards the mud pen, or the pig pen, I should say. Basically, they cut the water line to the pigs, and now we're just stomping those holes to make sure that the pigs get their water again. I just heard my dog claw at the door, and I will sadly not be able to let them in.
Heartbreaking.
Don't worry, I'll give him plenty of love after the run. Alrighty. And we're gonna stop this last hole. And luckily, after we do this one, we teleport straight back. Oh man, he is really clawing out that door. We're gonna teleport back to Miles, and luckily we have a bike that is gonna spawn just right here. And we're gonna spin it in this direction. And now we're gonna be doing our final chicken launch minigame. Luckily with this chicken launch, or not luckily, it is the hardest one, I should say. And it's got some level of difficulty to it, so I'm gonna focus a tiny bit, but if you want to explain which parts are a little more difficult than others, 67, as well as the little optimization that you have towards the end, feel free.
Yeah. So this one starts off just as every other one. Basically, you just try to get the meter into the right position so you don't throw them too far and you don't throw them not hard enough. So once he gets that, it'll be a perfect throw. And then we're doing the same strat where we go through the hoop and then click to get our feathers in the right spot. Because if you see bottom right, we have feathers. That's basically our ammunition for sprints. So if we're sprinting in the air, that's what I call them sprints, because we're basically just boosting forward. So he finishes in the 50, the smallest hole, because it's the closest one, and that'll finish it up.
Very simple. Yeah, there was like a part where you go through like a shed and a tractor to get a ring, and then there's towards the end there's like a railroad track. You could go through the ring itself, but instead we go off to the side. That way it's just a slightly better angle that you're taking to get towards the barn. But we're going to do a couple BTBs as we go on to our second Chasing Chicks. If you guys even remember that part of the game from the very beginning, it's been a long 2 hours. But basically, just as we did before, I'm going to try my best to aggro the... Okay, I guess I'm not going to talk to Hannah. I'm going to hop on the bike. We're going to talk to Hannah at first, and then we're going to try to aggro the Jersey cows in a way that way they all are trying to squirt me as I'm in a place where they actually can't reach me at all. And 67 actually had a funny moment with the Otis one, if you want to explain what happened.
Yeah, so what he's going for, if you missed the first one, he's trying to squirt the cows so that they'll follow him. They'll basically aggro onto him, and then he can go onto the shed here. But I don't know if it's ever been done before, but it was a pretty crazy moment in one of my gateless runs where I tried to do it on Otis, and he followed me up there, and it was A, it was scary, and B, it was very surprising. So I didn't know if it was going to ruin anything. I had to jump down, I had to reset it, and it was just one of the best moments from my streams that I've ever had.
Very, very good clip. Oh my gosh, Ig is actually just destroying me right now. I'm just getting no chicks near. So the ideal way to score points in this one, because there's 3 opponents, you do have to kind of be careful with this mission, because obviously with 3 of them all around the map, they can easily just rack up a ton of points. If you're wondering why I'm not going to the farthest circles to throw, there's these like little pink circles, as you can see, the like pink pillar in the back there. If you throw from there, the timer itself in game stops, so it actually loses time to go for the highest score, basically. So what we do alternatively is we go to the very front of the chicken coop and we throw it in, because you get 20 points from the pink ones and then 15 from the blue one at the very front. So because Ig is actually doing really well, I'm kind of scared to go for it. I think now I'm at a pretty comfortable lead. I'll try to go for the Owazi spin again. Let's see. All right, so first you gotta squirt him. You kind of have to aggro him by running near these guys. Oh, maybe I could pull it off on the sleeping area. Oh, okay, never mind. Well, not able to pull off what I want to do, but the one thing we have to make sure is that we don't leave before we do our dancing animation. If we left while a chick was flying through the air, then we'd actually have to redo the entire mission. Luckily, that did not happen, because obviously I've played this game so much at this point. If I made that kind of mistake, I really would have to question my decisions in life. But luckily, we don't have to do that. So as you can see in the bottom left, there is a mission that we can actually go to. And it's actually 30 seconds slower if we do that one first. So Party Turtle, who I mentioned earlier, who found the Veggie Patch strategy, was teaching another Dutch person named Proot, who was just trying to learn the game, but not obviously, they ended up not running the game because it was just too long for them. But they ended up accidentally finding an optimization where you go to sleep and then you're able to do this mission, this joyride before doing the final veggie patch defense. And what's great about that is the fact that, you know, it's a clean sequence of events, because instead of having to backtrack to go to the sleeping area, go to sleep and do the mission after veggie patch, you just go to sleep first, do this mission, and then you do veggie patch. But this is a pretty difficult joyride, so I'm gonna just focus a tiny bit. But yeah, we are going to be coming up on the final veggie patch mission, which is it is the most difficult one, and it's one that has actually lost me a pretty good run. I think a sub 3 run, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves me right. Ooh, okay, that's a little scary. But yeah, with that veggie patch mission, the biggest thing is just making sure that you do not lose the lives that they give you, but we'll talk more about that once we get there. The main thing when it comes to joyrides, though, is that you really want to be cautious about the amount of amount of time you're holding W around corners and stuff, because obviously you're trying to go as fast as you possibly can, but okay, that was wonky movement, but you don't want to go around a corner too fast to the point where you're running into a fence. So I'm going to be doing a lot of just I'm going to be letting go of W a lot around corners. That way I can keep a decent speed going around the corners, but you also don't want to obviously lose control. So that's a lot of what joyride comes down to, is making sure that you don't hold the W key too much. And I'm sure 67 can tell you all about it with joyride 3 IL attempts.
Oh yeah.
All right, but we are coming up towards the end of this one. Just gotta make sure you take this corner right. That was a nice corner. And then I like to let go of W there, because this part can be a little finicky too, but pretty clean joyride 4. Can't be upset with it at all, really. I think that's pretty close to a gold even, but I am not gonna be golding this, I don't think. All right. That will be the final joyride that we have to do within the Night Barn. Actually, the final Night Barn mission entirely. So goodbye, Night Barn. Thank you, Root, for having us. It was very nice to be within your establishment, but unfortunately, we don't need you anymore. We're going to do everything else outside of the barn. So we are going to go straight back to sleep. Because we just did go to sleep, this sleep cycle is slightly longer than normal, but luckily the sleep cycle is very fast, so it doesn't even matter. But we are coming up on the final veggie patch, like I mentioned. Again, the hardest one. And I don't want to give an example of just how quick these raccoons can pelt you with tomatoes, but it is very fast. And if you do get hit by one, it's very likely that you won't have the opportunity to actually move out of the way of the next shot that the raccoons throw at you. So this is a mission that I'm really going to have to pay attention to. So if we have any announcements or any questions, feel free.
So someone asked me the last round of the night. It is indeed. It was the first and last one of the show. We did a long one. Usually we do have multiple short games. That tends to be the go-to for Awful and Silly. But how about this for a question? Now, you mentioned, I don't remember if you mentioned it online or in here, in the green room or when we were live, you mentioned wanting to learn the Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga speedrun as a project. What is another game that you've always wanted to learn but haven't, or maybe it wasn't your cup of tea, or what the case?
Let me answer that after this.
Yeah.
Okay,
take
sweet.
your time.
So let's see. What's a run that's always interested me? So I do have other speed games that I do. One of the main ones is Minecraft, because Minecraft is just a really easy one to. I mean, not easy, but I've played it all my life, so that's one that I have in my back pocket. I did actually, to go back to Lego Star Wars, I did actually run the first game myself. I think I got a 1:15 when the record's 20 minutes ish faster than that. Gonna focus on this part. Oh gosh, I love the lock-on mechanic. It is not bad at all. Oh boy. Okay, we're good. In terms of new speed games, I don't have any on my radar. I really don't. I wish I did, but I think the Complete Saga is the main one that's like on my mind. And that's just thanks to the Summoning Salt video, especially. That's really what like intrigued, I think, a lot of people to run that game in the first place. But at the same time, like, it was a game from childhood, and I had already ran the... Oh boy, please don't fail this mission. Hold on. Okay. Okay. We got through it. Thank God.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think the Complete Saga is just like the main speed game that's like I'm wanting to really get into. So, and that's going to be coming up pretty soon. Not to self-plug, but I'm going to self-plug. My goal was to get 1K followers, and then I would do a speed run of it. So I'm really close to it. I'm sure we're even closer based off of this run.
You hear that, chat? You hear that, chat? Go follow, and make that a reality.
Hey. I like speedrunning, man. I really like speedrunning.
Yeah. Well, the chat loves speedrunning too, I think.
Yeah, the other game that I got into, I had mentioned Shift earlier. I was into the Battle for Bikini Bottom, SpongeBob, by the way, for those that don't know what that is. Game like a long time ago. I think I have like a 105 in it, but I could easily get like sub-hour. So that's another game that I want to return back to, especially because that is honestly a really fun speedrun. Just very, very technical and difficult.
Yeah, that's another one that has a surprising amount of tech based off of the license that it is.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of tech. Pretty cool. I love games like that.
Absolutely. 67, if you want to take over in terms of the tricks within this bike race, go ahead.
Yep, I got you. So we're going to start off this bike race by taking that left corner there. And ideally, what you can do as a little trick is you can kind of ride on Eddie's head there. But once it goes for super jump there, it doesn't work. So he's going to do the back up and just go for a normal jump up to the side of the mountain. And what we're going to do here is we're going to clip a little checkpoint there and trick off at the same time. Doesn't work there.
Try that again. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to try that again. And there we go. So it'll spawn you on the other side of that gate. It saves a good amount of time. It's almost necessary to do in runs. And we're going to go up here. And this is another part where stamina is really important up through this area here, because you can see it's almost all uphill right up here.
Yeah, and that's partially why we bought the bike earlier as well, just because this bike race is so stamina heavy. So,
yeah. And up here is going to go for a jump off of this ramp here. And there is a little hill that he's going to try to not hit, which he goes flying over it perfectly with a super jump.
All right. Yeah, this part of the race is not really that, oh my gosh, that interesting. But we will have a moment incoming in just a moment. A moment incoming in just a moment. Yeah.
So he's going to go for a super jump up here onto the little gulch that we saw earlier. And he's going to actually go backwards in the race until he hits a checkpoint, similar to like Bike Race 4, I believe. And he's going to come up here. It says wrong way, but we know we're going the right way. We're going to go up until we go down this gulch, and we're just going to see this rock up here to the left. And that's where we turn around. And you see in the top right, it goes from fourth to first. So that's a successful trick.
We have one more coming up as well.
So up here is Ben Hill. Normally you go around and go up, but he's going to go for a super jump. Doesn't work. He's going to go for a back up here.
Get out of my way, man. There we go.
There we go. And he gets right up Ben's Hill, nice and easy. And we'll go down on the side here.
Yeah, this is honestly one of my favorite bike races just because of the fact that it uses a bunch of different tricks. I think the fact that the first one, you have to hit a checkpoint and then bail off to be quick. The second one, you have to hit a super jump, and then similar to Bike Race 4, you have to just, hit the checkpoint. And then the last trick just being a simple super jump. It's a very nice display of the technical capabilities of this game, in my opinion.
Okay, that's it.
All right, and similar to Bike Race 3, we do have to head to Otis through Walnut Woods, and just like we did like I mentioned in Bike Race 3, we did a little trick that made it so that we can jump up to Walnut Woods a lot faster, so I'm gonna focus. Okay, I was worried I wasn't gonna hit it, but we're all good. So yeah, this saves, like we mentioned before, it saves a good amount of time. Arguably, I think like 10 seconds or more. But yeah, very nice trick. I'm also going to set myself up for another trick that I normally don't do in runs because it actually loses time. But you know, we're trying to showcase here, so we're gonna pull that off after this fifth golf. So, unlike the first 4 golfs, this one actually is like a traditional game of golf, where you are given a limited, I guess not traditional, but a little closer to the traditional kind of golf, where you are given a limited amount of shots to actually complete the holes in. So unlike the other ones where it was all timed, now we are actually doing it in a specific amount of throws. Luckily, the front 9 is very easy. The only time you really have to worry about like the amount of throws that you're completing the hole in is the back 9, which we will get to in just a little bit here. Okay, well, I thought that was going to go in. But yeah, just like we have already done, we are doing more golf. So I hope that the viewers are enjoying the golf content.
If you're enjoying the golf content, get some golf claps in the chat. Let us know.
Yeah, the biggest thing about this one, of course, just being like we have been saying this entire time, just getting it in an efficient amount of throws. Obviously, the less the better, which is not always going to be the case because it's a very technical minigame. Surprisingly technical. At least that's what I've optimized it to the point of being. It used to be like I used to just not care about the speed run, to be honest. Wow, I have had a very bad set of hole 4s today. I used to not really like think about the speed run in a serious manner up until about like 4 years ago, and then like since then, like this game has just seen so much optimization. It's insane. And golf is one of those big things that has really seen a lot of optimization. I've definitely improved my game a ton, and it's thanks to people like Erratix and 67 and all the other community members who have really just shown how much every second matters within the run. At least they've shown me that. But I'm gonna go for the hole 7 hole in 1 again. I am also gonna go for hole 8, so I'm gonna focus up a tiny bit.
So hole 7 skip, we're gonna try to get a bounce off this rock that goes to the backside where the gopher throws it in, and it gets in there. Good shot.
Thank you, thank you.
So hole 8, he's going to purposely miss the 2 skill checks at the start so we get a closer spawn.
I'm gonna play it a little safe.
Okay.
Oh, please work.
Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Get in there. There we go. There we go.
Let's go.
All right. So as you guys saw, he threw it pretty much from the start of the map to the very end. It's a blind shot.
I'm gonna focus for this last bit too. Oh man, I just can't get the right power.
So ideally, you would throw it into the water there where a gopher will rebound it to you almost perfectly on time. But if it's short, it's okay. Snipe that last shot and we're looking good.
That was a very, very nice front 9, I must say. I'm really impressed with myself. I think hole 4, I am just not very happy with, but everything else was just absolutely perfect, so. All right, and then right after, this is going to be the end of this chapter, actually. I forgot to mention that part, too. So yeah, we actually, let's see.
Oh yeah, chapters.
Yeah, they exist, I know.
Yeah.
Feels like they barely do. Yeah, we have 3 chapters left, so this is the one of the last 3. So I'm gonna go over here real quick. I'm gonna fall off my bike intentionally. I'm gonna do it again, hopefully in the right position, and then I'm gonna be... That was not supposed to happen. Never mind. Okay, I guess I'm not gonna show this trick off. Okay, so what was supposed to happen, similar to the Gulch clip I did earlier, I was supposed to clip out of bounds, and then I fall into the void, and then spawn back at the barnyard. Clearly that did not happen. I fell into the water, so that's not good. Oh well. we are still gonna just move along with the run, regardless of that happening. And this next mission we have is actually similar to the Tease the Mailman that we did at the very start, but instead of the mailman, it's gonna be Mrs. Beatty. I know that is Randy's favorite character for specific reasons, but yeah, Mrs. Beatty is basically a weirdo, not a weirdo. Everyone paints her as a crazy person because she sees the cows walking and talking and all the animals, but no one else is able to catch them but her. So to drive her even more crazy, we're gonna do a bunch of emotes in front of her, and her husband is gonna be saying some very funny things about her. Yeah, Mr. Beatty is basically just a very disgruntled man that just wants to relax with his after a long day of work in the field. And unfortunately, Mrs. Beatty is yelling about the cow that's outside of their window for good reason. I don't think she's wrong for complaining, but you know, of course she's gonna look crazy to everyone else. So yeah, like before, we have a set of like animations that we can do. We're gonna do the long ones almost every single time. So I'm gonna focus a little bit. Oh, and for some reason, the left side of the house is missing, so. All right.
Can't you wait until daybreak to be done?
And for the commentators who did not just hear, Mr. Beatty just said, "Can't you wait until daybreak to be nuts?" Which is one of my favorite lines in the game. All right.
That's
We're
it.
going to be just a little too low on the points front here, but that's fine. We'll just do a nice little medium animation, and then, yeah, that'll be the end of the mission. It only takes 200 points to actually complete this one, so very simple, very straightforward. All right, with that being said, we have the worst mission in the entire game. I can't,
Wow.
I was going to joke and say this is like everyone's favorite, but I've already done that. This is actually the worst mission in the entire game. 67, take it away, man.
Yeah, this isn't even up for debate. This is the worst mission in the game by far. Because not only do you have to drive the car, you have to drive the car slow. I don't know what they were thinking with this, but you have to follow these kids you can't get too close to them, you can't get too far, so you have to basically just drive slowly. That's the entire mission for about 2.5 minutes. So sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and get ready for this one.
So, now would be a great time for questions if we have any more.
All right, let's see here. I'm looking in the chat. Just to see if somebody asked if this is a cow sona. I guess technically, yes, in the sense that it's an actual cow.
Yeah, this game can be whatever you want it to be, honestly.
I remember near the beginning of the run, you'd mentioned that this is like GTA-esque. Do you know like if anyone who ever like worked on the game or whatever like shouted out like GTA as like a specific inspiration? Because I definitely see it. It gives me like Simpsons Hit and Run vibes, which is obviously based off of GTA as well. But,
right.
I'm curious if they were really direct with like, yeah, we wanted to make Barnyard a GTA like.
I usually just say it's more bully than GTA. That's usually the comparison I make, but I feel like GTA is just very easy to understand in case people don't know what bully is. But as far as I'm aware, the developers don't really shout out GTA as like a direct like inspiration, but it's very clear in the way they made it that it's very like it's GTA. It's essentially GTA with cows. So.
For sure. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's obvious.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat also asked if you had a favorite Barnyard episode or if there is a good one to watch out of context.
I really wish that I could comment about Back at the Barnyard episodes, but I honestly have a very limited knowledge of that show. I just remember there's an Weird Owl cameo in it.
Sure.
Which, I mean, like, cool. Watch that episode, I guess. I think they were doing like some kind
watching.
Yeah, I think there was like some kind of heist on his house or something is what the characters were doing. So that episode, whatever that one is called. But honestly, like I did grow up watching the show a lot as a kid, and growing up as a kid, of course. And I do remember like a lot of like moments throughout the show. Obviously, viewer mail time being the big thing that everyone remembers about Pig. and then just like a bunch of random bits that the show like kind of just sprinkles throughout, because the difference between the Barnyard the movie and Barnyard the show is that the movie takes itself a lot more serious, while the show is very whimsical and kind of just wacky, zany, whatever they felt like doing. So I think that honestly, any episode of Back at the Barnyard will kind of serve you right, because I kind of don't remember the episodes, but I remember a lot of the moments. So, and there's also a DS game for Back at the Barnyard the show, where it honestly, they kind of just ripped off this game. They kind of just like took some missions from this game and kind of took like the map from this game in the open world aspect and kind of just like copy and pasted it, which is like a cool little thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we have any more questions, I'm willing to answer.
Yeah, chat. Now's the time. Get your Barnyard or Wazoo related questions in.
But yeah, this game is pretty straightforward. This is the last joyride that we are completing, by the way. Did forget to mention that, which it's weird that they ended off on a follow mission into like what they consider a cop chase. But this mission is more accurate to what the movie portrays in terms of joyride. So I think it's at least a nice little homage to the movie. All right, I'm not going to do the strat that I did earlier. Very clean. But yeah, like I had mentioned before, a lot of the joyride is just making sure not to press W for too long around corners.
Yeah, the speed looks serious. Like, I feel like this would be hard to navigate from a casual perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still, I think, honestly, like the control scheme is still pretty fun, and I think it's easy to like get down. It's just like you're kind of navigating a boat is what it feels like is the only downside, but there is a drift mechanic, so like, you know, there is some cool little things you can do. There's a trick I'm gonna try to pull off right now real quick, if I can do it right. Okay, that works. So I'm gonna intentionally go up and out of bounds here, and then I'm gonna run out of bounds, or I'm gonna run into the void. The way that you teleport back is you have to go back into the void without touching anything, by the way, in case anyone was curious of how that glitch actually works. Let's say you fall into the void once and then touch something on the way down, falling back in, it will just respawn you back up at the very top instead of spawning you back at the barnyard. So yeah, nice little glitch. We pull that off in gateless, of course, because obviously you can't go through the gates. So we got to find our way around, and that is the most efficient way to get back to the barnyard. But we will now be finishing off golf. The last golf. Oh my gosh. It feels like it's been forever.
Or golf. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. This is honestly my least favorite one, just because, let's say I'm on a world record pace. This is the most nerve-wracking mission by far. Like, hands down, this is the one that scares me the most. I'm going to try to go for the trick I was going to go for earlier as well. So I'll park my bike there. All right. So, final go for golf. I don't really have much else to say at this point, because there's a lot of repeat missions in this game, unfortunately. That is the one downside of this game, is the amount of repeat missions there are. But I think given the amount of resources they have, this being a PlayStation, GameCube, and I guess PC, 2006 PC game, like, they did pretty well with what they were given, I think.
Yeah, I'm quite impressed with how much is in this game. Just like how many different systems, mechanics, and things like that. Like I was saying at the start, for a movie tie-in game that, you know, this isn't a movie that made billions of dollars or anything like that. I'm surprised that they got a lot. Sometimes it just works out that way.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Devs really care.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that shines through the gameplay, is just how much care that the devs put into this game. It's really just like, it's really cool. And we did actually try to come into contact with the lead developer, and he actually, I think a long time ago, he responded to someone's email about like doing some kind of interview, but we never followed through on that. So I definitely want to like try to get like more questions answered from the dev team, but we do have at least one dev in our speedrun Discord. So at the very least, we have one person from the dev team who is very interested in this community and has answered as many questions as he possibly can as well.
That's really, really cool.
All right. Oh, I was gonna say I was about to say like something little niche that happens on this hole, but it's too much to explain in this short amount of time. I won't even bother. You'll really only catch it if you're a true runner of the game.
Sure.
Okay, I think that was a little under on the power. Please go through. I'd really like to get a hole in one. Oh, man. Well, hole 14 didn't go my way today in terms of the hole in one, but that's fine. It's not the end of the world. This is one of the hardest holes to get through for a lot of runners, so the fact that I'm able to get through it efficiently is still a good sign.
Okay, light it up. Look.
All right, this is one of the harder holes, so I'm definitely gonna focus a lot here. I don't think that works. Oh, shoot. Well, not my day for 14 or 15, I guess. It is what it is.
Oh.
You are telling me. I don't think... Okay, I was going to say, I don't know if I was going to throw that straight into the wall or not, but we're good.
Oh, yeah!
All right, and for those that are unaware, one of my goals for this run was to get a sub-3 time in this showcase, and we are about 2 minutes difference from best possible time to from best possible time to 3 hour mark. So we're on a pretty good pace to actually get sub-3 in this run.
All right, let's see. Let's hope we can get it.
I'm really hoping I can. Thanks again, Erratix, for coming up with the optimization on this hole as well. It really just, I don't even have to think about what I'm doing anymore on this hole. It's fantastic. That's one of the great things about this game, and really just speedrunning any game for a long amount of time, is that you're able to autopilot on certain points that, you know, for a long time were a really huge strain. I think the fact that I'm able to kind of have a conversation while doing some pretty complex things is really nice. And I'm really proud that I'm able to showcase my skills on GDQ, because I really think this game is pretty underrated in terms of not just the speed run, but overall, very underrated game. All right, hole 18. I used to be scared of you. Now it's just, I don't even care anymore.
Yep. Just send it.
Here we go.
That's pretty much perfect right there.
Beauty.
I had to say something, didn't I?
Oh, it happens. It's the commentator curse, man. I do it to myself on stream all the time. So that's just how it goes. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Am I about to have an Erratix moment? I hope not. Okay, we're good. Oh, geez. Wow. This is definitely one of the whole 18s I've done. Yeah, this is definitely one of them.
Yeah, so if you guys see top left, that's the amount of strokes we got. So he escaped there with 2.
Ooh.
But that is
escaped.
one of the harder holes in terms of stroke play. You want to get that one. If you don't get it consistent, it's pretty scary.
I really should have done that with at least like 8 chances left. Or like, not 8, but like 6 or 5 or something. But sometimes golf doesn't go your way. So I'm going to go for one more little trick here. Hopefully I'm able to pull it off. Because from here on out, the run is pretty much almost done. Oh boy. Please don't fall in the water again, because that would be 30 seconds I'm losing. You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, wow.
Wow, okay. That is
Water
one that
did
I
not want
almost...
to cooperate.
Yeah, wow, okay. That's really awesome. Oh my gosh, man. Whatever. Okay, let's get out of Walnut Woods, please. I don't want to be here anymore. So we are coming up on one of the last chapters here. This next mission is actually going to be the end of this current chapter. Then we have one more that's 2 missions, and then one more that is 1 mission. So we are pretty close to done. We have 4 missions left to go. And this one, of course, you know, we got to end this run on a high note. We got to have one more timed mission. So Golf 6 is sandwiched between Joyride 5 and then this next one. And it's like, wow, man, that's just so cool. I love timed missions so much. They add so much to a speedrun. They definitely add time, that's for sure. So yeah, just like the Freddy mission, as well as the first raccoon defense mission that we did before, it's just defending the chicken coop from coyotes is all we're doing right now. So yeah, this if only we had more announcements.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, well, just to remind everybody, SGDQ is around the corner. You can go on the website, gamesdonequick.com, check out the schedule. There is a lot of really cool stuff on there. We even have some like fun and interesting new things we haven't done before, so highly suggest checking it out. And yeah, June. Oh my gosh, still stuck in June. The event runs July 6th through the 12th/13th, depending. So keep an eye out. It's around the corner.
I'm definitely looking forward to SGDQ. That's for sure. My friend Jaxler, I think, is in it twice. I think he has 2 runs.
Yes, Jaxler has been on the show many times.
Yeah, he's a big fan of the licensed games. That's for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm like, I forget what runs he has. Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, let's see. Sea Frog is one of them.
Sea Frog, right? That's one of them.
Oh my gosh.
It was a backup. It's
tough when you're on the committee because I reviewed so many games. Yeah.
No worries.
Hotfix. I'm gonna think of it. I'll get there.
No worries.
Think of it without looking it up though.
But yeah, huge shout out to Jaxler, one of the many people that has supported me in my my Barnyard speedrunning journey. So he's always been a huge inspiration in terms of just pushing this game to its limits, for sure.
Absolutely.
I guess I have a question. What part of this game surprised you the most? If you had anything.
That is a good question. So initially it was the humor that it was surprisingly more adult than I anticipated.
Right.
But that's not uncommon from like an early aughts children's movie necessarily. So, but that did make me laugh. I would say I kind of already alluded to it, but like how fast seeming the driving is and like how intense it feels in the car. Like I mean, like I would have imagined like, you know, 1, because you're a barn animal driving a car, and 2, because of the nature of the game itself, that it would be a little bit more like slower and forgiving for kids. But that just seems difficult. That just seems hard.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the way I see it. It's one of those missions where you can't save a lot of time, but you can lose a lot depending on, you know, how well you're driving. Like it's just one of those things where it's like, it's not a timed mission. You can save time, but the amount of precision it takes to like do that mission as efficiently as possible, like any of them, it's a lot. It's a lot for a kid for sure. If you're trying to speed run at least. But yeah, just to get through the missions themselves as a child. Funny enough, I never actually finished the game as a kid because my PS2 disc was scratched, which made it that the black loading screen where it's like the cow, just only the cow at the bottom, it was stuck on that every single time I'd get past hole 10 on Golf. It was very weird, very specific, like
Bummer.
Spot that it would soft lock. So yeah, never got to finish the game, but you know, go about like over a decade later, I eventually finished the game and I was like, okay, let's speedrun it. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay, this
How it goes
BTB
sometimes.
This BTB
Wow,
is just
like-
not my friend. Wow. Okay, so this is the third to last mission. This one is similar to the stomping, the whole stomping mission that we did earlier. So essentially, the dialogue I'm about to have with Miles, he's basically like, the raccoons cut off the water supply to the veggie patch. And then Archie's like, aren't they trying to steal the vegetables? And then Miles is like, I never said they were smart. So instead of using a flower like we did earlier, we're actually just going to do the jumping animation skip to skip the water stomping animation, as it does lose a good bit of time if you do accidentally do one. But yeah, we're just going to basically stomp these as efficiently as possible. And then we have 2 missions and the end of the game.
My gosh, we're so close.
I know, it feels like it's been a while since the beginning of this showcase. All right.
Nah, time flies. Time flies.
Oh yeah. All right, here we go. So yeah, stomp this last one. It teleports us back to Miles, and then it'll teleport us back to the spot we were with the bike. So these last 2 missions, if we do remember the cow tipping mission where we had to deter the kids from tipping over the cows, this time around we're actually doing that. Oh my goodness, my biking is atrocious. We're doing that with raccoons instead of children this time. And because of that, the raccoons are actually one-shot. So we don't even have to pick up any power-ups for this one. We're mainly just going to be focusing on ensuring that we get the reload animation almost every single time that we have to reload. And then the mission right after is pretty much going to be the same thing, just in a different environment. But I'll save that for the very end. And I'll let 67 try to explain how the spawning mechanics for that mission works, because we're still trying to understand. I mean, it's not about fully understanding it, it's just that the luck can't go your way for the most part. And it's the final mission of the game, so that's not a good sign. Oh boy. Okay. And luckily, after this next mission, we can actually exit out of the save file and then load back in to save 10 seconds. So we're just going to bail off our bike and run into Bessie here. All right. I'm going to focus up just a tiny bit here. But just like the first cow tipping, the first 4 spawns are going to be the same. And then after that point, it's just random based off of 3 different spawn points as well. Okay, nice. One thing you can also do, without having to actually lock on with the arrows pointing red, you can actually hit the raccoons before the lock on actually shows up, which can save you some time. And actually gives you an extra 2 points, I believe, or an extra point. Oh, I almost forgot to do the reload animation. That could have been bad.
Hey, there you go.
Okay, interesting spawn rates. Haven't seen that one before. Always see something new with this game. But yeah, as you can see, there's crates on the floor, but we're not even going to bother. The power-ups are the same as the ones from before. You also have these like raccoons trying to hit you with tomatoes on this one as well. But you can get an invincibility power-up, but you can just deter them so fast. You can just hit them so fast. It's just not even worth picking up the power-up itself. All right, we're actually getting really good spawn rates. I'm getting the top left really well. Yeah, usually the top left spawn where they keep spawning from, oh my goodness, they almost never spawn there consistently. So the fact that we've been getting 2 spawning there each time is actually really insanely lucky. All right, let's make sure that we get all of these guys. 1 always spawns after that set of aggressive raccoons. And I think the end of the mission is coming up in just a moment here, and that will be the end of this next chapter. I turned away too quick. Yep. Last raccoon right up there. There we go. All right, that was actually a really good cow tipping. Yeah, spawns were just really solid. I think my shooting was just a tiny bit okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. So I'll just say it was okay. All right. End of the chapter. This is going to be the final mission, folks. The moment we've all been waiting for.
The coyotes kidnapped Hannah.
Here we go. All right. So the game is going to auto-save right after this. So what we're going to do, once it saves, pause, quit, obviously. And then we go to the main menu. We're going to load back into our save file. One thing that we can do, and one thing that I've been doing this entire run, is buffering my movement. So in this loading screen, I'm just pressing the space bar, which will skip a yawning animation that you do every single time you load back into a save file. So without a further ado, here we go into the last mission. 67, if you want to try to explain how the spawning mechanic works, go ahead.
All right. So just to set the stage, we're going to go to the junkyard, and this is going to be a tomato launching mission against the coyotes here. So Dag is the main coyote, the bad guy, the main antagonist of our game here, and we're going to have to hit him. Normally he comes up in 3 different phases, so we'll see how many times we can hit him here. But the spawns on this one are relatively random, other than the starts at the top left for I think it's 1 or 2 spawns, I believe, and then it'll go bottom left and then top left again. Similar to the other tomato games where the spawns are kind of understandable at the start and then it just gets into randomness.
It ends here.
But there's Dag right there, so you can see he's gonna pop up at one of the 4 spots here, and he's gonna try to throw a trash can. But if we can flick onto him fast enough, we can hit him before he throws the trash can, and that actually does double damage because the trash can will hit him as well. So if you can get him early, that's really good.
Yeah, and you'll know when he pops up because he'll say the voice line, "It ends here," which obviously the commentators can't hear, but it is a very clear sign of when he pops up again. He's about to say it again.
It ends here.
There we go. And then on the last phase, which I'll mention when that shows up, that will be time. So time is coming up pretty soon.
Cool.
Here we go. I think he spawns one more time. Sweet. Okay, so it's probably going to take like 2 hits. All right, so once he pops up again, I will let you know when time is coming up. Sweet. So 1 more spawn. It's going to be bottom. Yep. Okay. Last wave, and then it's going to be Dag time. Oh, if I could get good RNG, though. Okay, there we go. Okay. Time is coming up in just a moment here. This last shot. Oh, not yet. Time. There we go.
Sub 3, baby.
Let's go,
Is
man.
it?
Yeah, 259.35 is what I have.
Let's go.
Let's go. The first sub 3.
First sub 3 in a marathon.
In a marathon set.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow, man. Yeah, what a good run. I am very proud of that one. And yeah, I don't take the stage, please. I don't have anything else to say.
For sure. Yeah, that was an incredible run. I did want to. We already did kind of a little bit of promotion during the run itself, but I did want to give both of you a chance if you wanted to shout anything out, community members, or if you have anything you'd like to draw the people towards.
67, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, okay, you can find me on Twitch at 67 Shots. I do streams from time to time, but big shout out to everyone here, everyone that put it together. Thank you guys, and big shout out to Wazip for getting this game where it's at. He's close to 1,000 followers. Go check him out. He's going to be getting a bunch of new world records, so go check him out, drop him a follow. And thanks for having me, guys.
All right, I'm Wazip. You can find me on Twitch, VVWazip. Find me on YouTube, Wazip, for all my speedrunning stuff. This was an amazing run. It's a huge thanks to my friends and family who support me. Huge thanks to the community behind me as well. This game would not be where it's at without this community. And it's really thanks to GDQ as well for allowing me to showcase this game too. I'm very proud of the product that we've actually come up with in terms of the quality of speedrun we have, and you know, I hope to see more people run this game. Yeah, and that's all I have to say. Oh, I guess hold on, let's watch this last cutscene real quick.
There's something funny about that farm. I know there is. You can't fool me. No siree.
Which is a callback to the very start of the game for a cutscene we didn't see.
Well, we'll have to go and play it ourselves then.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for being here and giving the time. I really appreciate it. For everybody who was watching, thank you for tuning in. If you happen to have missed out on our Hotfix shows tonight, or you missed some of this one, or you didn't catch Perilous Path, be sure to stay tuned. There's going to be a replay of Perilous Paths followed by Awfully Silly coming up right after a break. And make sure you tune in tomorrow for some more Hotfix content. We got it all leading up right to SGDQ. This is the last episode of Awfully Silly before SGDQ. So I will, if you're going to be there, be sure to say hi to me. I will look forward to seeing you. And yeah, everybody else, have a wonderful night. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.